Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another weekend edition of the WardiTV Monday. WardiTV Monday number 59. Your weekly dose of all things Star, or of Open StarCraft. I'm of course your VIP. With him, joined by these amazing players, by the people in the chat, by the plushies as well. Welcome, one and all. Bienvenidos. It has been an intense weekend of StarCraft. As a reminder, last night we had 4 events going at the same time. We had the WardiTV Korean Royale. We had Sparkling Tuna Cup, of course. We had RSL, and we had Kung Fu Cup. It's of course an intense period of StarCraft here in the off season when all these tournaments are running at the same time, and as a result we can't cast everything live anymore, so we're catching up via replays. This is an event that did occur last week. If you remember, Wardy, he had a back-to-back WardiTV Mondays. He had one at around 8 p.m, or I should say like around 7 p.m. KST, then one a little bit after that as well. Back-to-back because he was on the front page. He was on the front page of Twitch, so to kind of maximize kind of what he would get out of front page Twitch action, then he did host 2 events back-to-back to have a bit of a marathon broadcast. We, of course, went to sleep, went to bed, and now we're here to catch up on those games, catch up on those matches. Catch up on last week's WardiTV Monday. Here we go. So we're going to be jumping in. It's going to be a PvT between Classic and herO. We're jumping into the round of 16. Oh boy. And we should be covering, round of 16 into quarterfinals, into both semis, into the grand finals. Let's go. Let us go. As spawning in the top right hand corner of ley lines, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss representing team versus pro. It is Classic. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the red Terran representing Team Vitality. It is herO. Here we go. So jumping into our TVP, and again, this is a pretty high-profile matchup early on in the event. Este seeding. So Classic versus herO. Classic, of course, we featured last night. Classic did make it all the way to the grand finals of our Sparkling Tuna Cup, but did go down to Solar in that ZVP. I do recommend the VODs. It was a very intense, very chaotic matchup here. Meanwhile, I just realized this is going to be the last tournament that we cast with the old map pool. Oh, that's I just realized because this event was a week ago and the map pool went live less than a week ago, so I just did realize. So yeah, this is technically going to be the last couple of the last tournaments. WardiTV Monday number 58 and 59 and 60 are going to be the last events on the old map pool. Oh boy, we're back. Thankfully, he did incorporate some new maps in the map pool rotation, so we might be able to feature some of them, hopefully. Fingers crossed. For now, we do have an eBay block here by herO. Does eBay block at the natural base of Classic? Let's go for the block. We'll disrupt, and by the time Classic sounds here, it's too late. It's too late to expand, so Classic forces to expand at the natural. We can see herO, he does a block here at the triangular third base, and Classic, he does actually pivot around here. It goes for a bit, yeah, it does go for a bit of a loop, does pivot around, and he will be able to expand at the triangular third. herO, he double checks the linear base location, sees there's nothing here, and bam, here comes the Nexus. And again, ideally, herO, he wants to block both expansions. If he was able to force a linear base, that would have been the most exposed natural base for a Classic, and herO could punish. But alas, herO, he won't be able to. Does go in for the scouts, and Classic, he's going for a delayed expansion himself. Does go for a delayed base. We should soon be seeing a cancellation here from herO. Back at home, because there was no early cancellation, it is going to be racks into factory, not CC. So from here, we can go into an add-on swap into Reactor Hellion. Oh. Speaking of, as he comes back home, we are going for the add-on swap, but not just that. Typically it'd be add-on swap into CC, but no, we're going for a Rax and a Starport. This is a 1 base all in. Okay, let's go. herO. herO, so 1 base all in out of our red Terran player. He's going to double down, he's going to commit here. We do have a tech lab on the way on the Rax, bear that in mind. So I'm curious if we're going for an earlier stim timing. Likewise, yeah, 2-on-1, 1 base all in. Classic, he pokes in, he sees nothing, by the way. He sees Hellions, that's all he sees. It's Hellions, they poke out. They zone away the Stalker. Oh, okay, so it's going to be Reactor Hellion into add-on swap, so no stim. There's going to be an earlier timing with most likely around 2 tanks. I believe it's going to be 1 tank into medevac who we can drop across the map. Then we should be reinforcing with Vikings. Vikings, they actually have a lot of DPS, a lot of firepower this early on against vanilla gateway units. So Can hit quite hard. Can hit hard as here we go. The first tank has arrived. Medevac is soon to be upon us as well. Then we can break out. And we can pull some of the boys who can break out. Ryungi supply blocked. Ooh. Yeah, a little bit of supply block, but there we go. Here comes the drop. Across the map. Classic again. Remember, he's exposed. He's vulnerable between two bases. As he does not have his natural. We have charge. It's on the way. Charge will help, but is it going to be done in time? As Ryungi's already moving out. He's already moving out. Classic's out of position. He can, of course, recall back home. Ryung boosting straight in towards that natural. Sentry's exposed. Going for the sentry. There's a recall. Yeah, there's a recall back home. Picks up in time, pulls away. Remember, there's no blink. Oh, when he gets into the main. Wow, gets into the main base. Going for the reinforcing stalker. We'll get a kill. Nice body blocking. Takes down the stalker. Has to pull away. Medevac getting low. Oh! Does pick up, does pull out, and here comes the rest of the army. Here comes the second tank and Vikings. As you mentioned, going into Viking production is going to be a big part of this. A couple of boys are being pulled. Vikings, they do have a lot of DPS available to them, especially against stalkers, especially against gateway units. And the all-in is upon us. Classic, he's got one shield battery. He's got one shield battery. Charge will not be done in time. He's going for the chrono. He's chronoing as best he can. Tanks are moving in. There's a couple of force fields. First tank does siege. So does second. One tank is going to go down. Nice target firing here out of Classic. Does focus on one, but alas, he will not get the other. It breaks through the Zealots. How many gateways? Only, oh, there's 4 gates. But how many warpins? Charges that in 10 seconds. Nice kiting. Tank is sieging. The boys are here to repair. Yeah, they hit a tank. It's now to 2 Vikings. Yeah, the shield battery is depowered. Going for the pylon. And there's no saving this space. No short charges done. There's 3 Zealots, but they should not get on top of the tank. Oh no! The probes! Oh my god, they're lining up. Yeah, probes are lining up. They're being hunted down. This space will fall. We can see Classic rotating, trying to catch reinforcements, and he will catch them. Oh. Everything has to get the hell out of here. Has to pull away. Things are getting chaotic, and Ryung looks like he will lose the tank. Tank is going to go down. Ryung turns everything around, actually. Uh-oh. There's a tank. There's another here on the high ground. Ooh, and can Classic surround the army? Tanks, they do siege up in time. Oof. Tank shots going off. Meanwhile, another tank should be saved just in time. The tank is saved. We should be landing those Vikings. So we gotta land. And Ryung is coming in from behind. Is there a recall back home? There is. Okay, there's a recall. Classic busting into the main base. Force field on the okay. Force field on the ramp. Let's go. Does force field. We're trying to load up. And this is decent damage. The problem here, though, is that is there even going to be a recall? Vikings are able to land. Gets 1 Viking, but yeah, there's no recall available. Like, this army will go down if attempted. Oh, can he get the immortal? Oh my god, he barely can. Yeah, he denies the recall, kills everything. And Classic, what does he have left to defend back at home? He's down to 1 immortal. He's down to a handful of Zealots. You can see he's ready for a counterattack. So 3 Zealot hit squad. Reinforcing with everything else. And we may just go for a base trade. That may just be it here. We commit across the map. You can see Classic does have a sentry here ready for force fields to wall up. Of course, Ryung, he can always lift up all of his buildings and get out of here. And the only anti-air is 1 sentry. Just 1 sentry. So I'll take it in. Yep, we go for the Great Migration. Just need some mass lift, float everything away. And Ryung can end the game with this army. Like, thankfully, he has Vikings, which can lift and land. Ryung, he will lose every single SCV. Here comes the Liberator going for the sentry. Oh, there's a force field. Tanks do siege. Classy, he's turning everything back around. He's racing back home. And it's going to come down to that one final fight. Oh, camping the warp-ins. Okay. As there's only 2 gateways powered. Classic is supplied, but he can't warp in anyway. Yeah, he cannot warp in. Ooh, Liberator does overextend. Liberator will go down. Zealots, they come in. Some nice SimCity here. 1 tank falls. He gets 1. He maybe gets 2. Gets 2. Oh, can he get 3? There's a lot of Zealots. He won't be able to. Yeah, won't be able to. Tank survives. Shuts down all the Stalkers. There's nothing left. GG gets called, and herO takes game number 1. GG. Whew. GG, well played, herO. He does take a lead in the series here, again committing to the 1-base all-in. Again, Classic, he was in the dark, he had no idea what was going on. He did not scout the all-in that was coming his way until it was already pushing across the map with the drop, if you recall. And it was a really nice setup here. Remember, herO, he went for the all-in after he had forced the unnatural. Natural after he forced a really awkward setup here out of Classic. Classic going to charge. If you remember, it was not done in time, just barely not done in time to save his own natural base. And GG. GG, well played. Now we're jumping into game number 2 and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Ruby Rock. We do have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss for Virtus Pro. It is Classic. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the red Terran player, the red Terran, the South Korean Terran for Team Vitality. It is herO. We go. Oh, hey. As we are getting into game number 2 here. And again, herO popping up, able to catch a Classic with his pants down. This time, no eBay block. And you can see Classic has already got a probe down the low ground. Just making sure. Checking for proxies. And welcome to Ruby Rock. Now, if you recall, this is one of the more aggressive maps in the map pool. One of the more aggressive maps. Can be in the face of your opponent. The third base is more exposed, so is the 4th. So we'll see how our players will approach this. We're expecting an all-in out of herO. This time it won't be 2 base, this time only 1 gas. So racks expand, economic opener out of herO, but on 2 bases, that's kind of what we're leaning towards. Like a 2-base setup. We'll see. As the SV does move out, interesting. Let's move out across the map. There's that CC on the low ground. And after the shenanigans in game 1, herO is just trying to ensure that Classic isn't up to anything himself as well. Extend, spot C expansion. Just ensuring there's no proxy. Now we're setting up. This time we're going to be seeing a much more comfortable start for Classic. We can just settle in, calm down. After game 1 where he was denied his own natural base, here we can just build up on 2 bases, work towards his tech. Twilight Council's on the way into Blink, into gateways, Robo, into a 3rd base. We can just build up into the mid game. Build up. Classic going for the Reaper. Ooh, doesn't commit. Going for the SCV instead, and he does get the Reaper. Reaper goes down, kills a Marine. Nice pickoffs. Gets Marine, shades away. A fresh Adept has arrived. Thankfully, the CC does complete. Again, Classic just being as annoying as possible. Getting as much value as he can early on. As he's still reinforcing. Second gateway's on the way. And this is less about killing units and just more about denying mining, right? There's no mining whatsoever here at the natural. Denying mining for as long as he can. Oh. One that finally goes down. Oof. Still lose a Hellion though, and we can see the Classic still has control. The natural, he kills both Marines. Oh no. The Marines go down. Marines. Wouldn't mind just try to zone, but still, I mean, you can see so much less buying time here. There's what, 5 SCVs not doing anything. And Classic just chilling. He's getting a third base up and running, taking up. He went 2-gate blink into a third. Greedy build by Classic, but he can get away with it. And finally, 4 minutes 30 in, Young can mine. Finally, he can mine from his natural. I spoke too soon. He will lose another SCV. This is critical damage, by the way. Like, to not be able to mine from your natural base for this long, almost 5 minutes in. Oof. Meanwhile, here comes the mine drop. Classic, he picks off the wooden mine. Losing another SCV. Okay, thank God. The Marine barely comes out on top. And finally, at 5 minutes, Young is able to mine. Jesus. And again, Classic is very, very comfortable here. He shut down the wooden mine drop, getting his third base up. And now he can focus on his gateways. There we go, 2 more gates on the way, working towards charge. So blink into charge, 4 gate setup. Classic, he just commits in. Oh, he will lose a Stalker. Does overextend. One Stalker goes down. Picks off the Marine. With more Stalkers arriving, he can just go back into the mineral line. Does blink away this time. Pulls back, rotates back in. Observer does provide high ground vision. And Young, his build has been disrupted. He's now working towards Stim. He's going to be stuck at home for the near future. He's going to be stuck at home. Classic from here, he can get a 4th base. He just get a 4th base, get his forges, work on the upgrades. Now, because Ryung has taken so much damage, there's a very high chance this turns into a 2-base all-in. In fact, it almost needs to. Trying to get a 3rd base from here and trying to build back up economically, it's going to be difficult here for Ryung. So we're expecting Ryung to commit, but we'll see. We'll see if he gets a 3rd or not. So again, this sim timing is going to be the best chance here that Ryung has. Best chance he has. And the hope is that Classic is too greedy. Now, what is Classic doing? Classic is getting a 4th base. He's getting double forges as well. But Storm is going to be done in time. Here we go. At the same time, Classic is going for his own push. Again, he's got plenty of High Templar. He's got 6, so he has at least 6 Storms. Jesus. And we pull the boys. Like, we have to. Again, 2-base all in. The boys are being pulled. Either Ryung ends the game or he dies trying. Either he kills Classic or he dies trying. But there are too many Storms. It is the issue here. Speaking of, oh god, yeah, the first Storm lands. He run up. There's Storms everywhere. Oh god. Not like this. Marines, they get annihilated. Marauders just survive. We have more Storms coming in. Oh, Biz Control. A lot of Biz Control. High Templar, they're going to be thrown away, but there's plenty more. There's 4 more High Templar. It does not matter. Classic, he misrallies, but alas, he will still clean everything up. GG gets called, and Classic ties up the series 1-1. GG. Whew. GG, well played again. Just a really rough start there for Ryung to lose his initial Marines, to lose the Reaper, and to lose control of his natural for 5 minutes. It took so long to actually mine, to actually saturate. That's why he went for the 2-base all in. He had to, right? It was the only chance that he had. Is if there were less Storms or if less connections, if Ryung could maybe break through and get on top of the High Templar ahead of time, those may be a chance there, but again, it was the only chance for Ryung. GG. GG, well played. That leads us into game 3, into the ace match. So you had GG already. Don't be a clown, Pappy. Don't be a clown. Let him play. As spawning in the top right hand corner of Tokamak, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss representing Virtus Pro. It is classic. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Terran player. We have the red Terran for Team Vitality. It is herO. Hello. As he does move out with 1 and with 2 SCVs. Okay, so we're going for a proxy 2 racks. herO is going to commit. Now remember, Classic did scout for proxies last game. He did check his third base location. Does he check this time? For now, he checks his natural. He heads on over towards the right-hand side, checking the triangular third base for the proxy. Let's check the triangular third. And he moves out for the scout. Okay, so he won't scout his linear third base. I mean, the Raxes are getting up and running. Eventually, Classic, he will be able to confirm that there's no Raxes at home. True, he will be able to confirm this. But he has to go further in. He has to check the main base thoroughly. He has to check the natural as well. It is not uncommon for a Terran player to hide their Raxes at their third location or even at their natural. That's what makes this difficult to confirm. As it goes in, yep, you can see he has to check the main. Checks the main base, moves down to the low ground. Should be sending out a second probe. Yep, now checking behind the mineral line. And here come the Marines. He's moving in. You can get bunkers as well. And now Classic knows he does have 1 Zeld on the way. No Cybercore. And herO, he can contain. Okay. He's zoned away the probe. He contains here. The boards are being pulled. Classic, he wants to expand. And he zones away the Marines. Ooh, we'll lose 1. We'll lose 2. Nice body blocking. 2 probes go down. Zeld has arrived. The SV barely survives. Oof. It does barely get away. Nice kiting with the Marines. Building up to how many? Building up to 4. So 2 more on the way. Oof. As 1 SCV goes down. It's all about just zoning away that Stalker, maybe even killing. And the bunker finishes. Wow, he does finish the bunker. From here, the factory's back at home, and this is all about containing. We spoke earlier. How long did it take for herO to actually mine from his natural? It took 5 minutes. Similar thing here, where the natural is completely denied, and Classic is contained on one base. He's contained. We see Classic going for the prox. He's going for the 1 base all in. 1 base all in out of Classic. Let's go, Mike. Let's go. He's set that he cannot expand. He cannot take his natural. Rax is there floating back home. herO does turn back around. Ooh, and herO is expanding. Uh-oh. So the CC on the way. Defensive Cyclone. Classic going for the... Let's go. Going for the Ninja Base. Vámonos, baby, vámonos. I mean, I'm thankfully that he had a probe out on the map, right? Oh. No force field. Yeah, force field's too late. Sentry goes down, forcing a recall. Let's force a recall. Those are the same 3 Stalkers, so nothing suspicious. Oof. Takes off all the Marines. There's a salvage in time. And herO, he thankfully does have a Cyclone. So the Cyclone back at home, taking his natural. As Classic, he can try to drop into the mineral line. Full Stalkers taking 1-shot SCVs. We have 1 base Banshee on the way here from herO. Let's go. Ooh, brutal tank shot. Yeah, that was a brutal tank volley. ryung, he's now expanding. Now, seeing this Warp Prism, ryung, he didn't see a robo in the main, so he should be aware. I mean, he's got I was gonna say he should be aware there's a proxy. He does check, he does confirm the expansion. And this space is so exposed. Like, this is a quote-unquote ninja base. It is on ryung's side of the map. If it was in the corner, then sure, then it can be hidden. If it was over on Classic side, then it would be safe. But because it's where it is, I mean, ryung can punish this. One bad fight and Classic will lose the base. So Classic has to be so careful with how he maneuvers. Remember, he has no blink. He's working towards charge. Portal's on the way. He's jumping in. Likewise, Banshee gets across the map. There's no anti-air. Probes are falling. Oof. And that is critical damage here. And probes are going down. We can maybe try to recall the probes to the ninja base. To the gold. Another logon! No! There's the scan, but the bit of miscontrol, and the Prism barely gets away. Prism does pull back. The Mortal Sword's a natural. But there's a tank on the high ground. And ryung, he's holding. The Banshee's still popping up. Getting 13 probe kills. There's a recall back home. The Immortal overextends. Oof. And ryung is still on 2 bases. He's still on 2 bases. Classic losing 13 workers down to 17. The gold base is helping. Does have the hybrid base, really. Got half a gold. And ryung is finishing the bunker. Still has a Cyclone, true. On patrol. Observer goes down. Prism back into the main. Going for the warp in. Bold move. Does warp into the main base. Can pick off a couple of ACVs. Remember, the ACVs don't really matter as much. Stalkers, they blink into tank range, and the Stalkers all go down. Nice target firing out of ryung. Shuts down the Stalkers. GG gets called, and ryung, he will take this series 2-1. He shuts down the all-in, and he eliminates Classic from the tournament. GG. Whew, GG, well played. A very spicy and aggressive series here out of ryung. Game 1 going for the initial proxy as well, or I should say forcing the unnatural, natural going for the 1 base all in, and here in Game 3 going for the proxy 2 racks. Again, Classic was in a really rough position, took him a long time to confirm what was going on. It was really unfortunate that, if you remember, Classic, he scouted the triangular 3rd base, whereas it was at the linear 3rd, right? The other 3rd location is where the proxy was being held, and Classic was unable to expand. It was contained to 1 base. He did decide to respond with a 1 base all in, going for the goal base as well. But as we mentioned, it also meant that if he would ever lose a fight, that would be game. And that did end up happening here. ryung, he was just too far ahead, has their natural up and running, had saturation. GG. GG, well played. And with that, ryung, he does claim the series. Again, ryung, he does have some spicy PvT as well. We've seen him take down some of the bigger Protoss players in the world, like your herOs, like your MaxPaxes. I would not say it's his best matchup. It's a little bit too inconsistent. Like ryung, he's one of those players that can show up, like beat someone like Classic or the MaxPax or herO, and then like hibernate for like 3 months and have a really hard time and then pop off once again. So ryung, he can pop off. TvT is still kind of like his bread and butter, but GG, very well done, very well played here by ryung. Big upset. As that leads us into the quarterfinals. Leads us into the quarterfinals here, and here we go. We are going to be getting into our next series, MaxPax versus Cure. Let's go. Right, with the gold mineral line. Guess where did I get this? True. And here we go, we're getting to our fresh best of 3, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Tokamak, we have the Danish Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Saxon Gaming. It is MaxPax. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the South Korean Terran player. We have the blue Terran representing Team Liquid. It is Cure. We go. So we are getting to our fresh best of 3. And again, Cure is still a little bit of an enigma to me, at least. In recent times, Cure has been on hiatus. Basically, post EWC, Cure took some time off, and in recent weeks has returned. And we'll see how Cure has adapted to the latest meta here. We spoke previously how the TVP meta has been shifting a lot in recent times. I say in recent times, the entire year we've had so many different metas of PvT, the meta shifting time and time again. We've seen that again here with the latest patch, with the latest map pool as well. But this tournament, these replays are from last week, so the fresh map pool isn't really applicable here. This does mean that there are ways for Terran players to be more aggressive. Otherwise, we have been seeing more turtle heavy and more longer games out of Terrans in TVP. We'll see if that's applicable to Cure as well. I mean, Tokamak would be the map to go for it. True. Go. So here we are building up. So economic opener, racks expand into factory here from Cure. He does check for proxies, checking towards left hand side. And we're settling in. Now, when it comes to MaxPax, he's very fond of his Blink Stalker play, of course. We'll see if he's also decided to cut some corners, especially with the latest patch. We've seen the rise in popularity once again of 2-gate Blink, especially on maps like Tokamak. I mean, hey, we saw from Classic in game number 2 against Ryung. We could see it here as well. Cancel those finish. Getting into Blink. I believe that's the second gateway, so we'll keep another gateway count. So far, 2 gates. And we'll see if he goes for a safety robo or if he does go for the third. Ooh, meanwhile, Cure going for a very fast third CC. Okay. Depths, they get behind the middle line. They get 1, they get 2 SCV so far. Not bad. 2 SCV kills shades away, and Cure is being hyper greedy here. Now, if you remember, we just spoke about this at the start of the game, how we have seen Terran players embrace a longer mid and late game as well. They've been embracing it a lot more in the recent times, in the recent meta. As we've seen kind of all-ins die down. We did just see Ryung pop off with all-ins, true, but in general, the consensus has been kind of less aggression. And we see that from Cure being hyper greedy. Now, when it comes to this build, because we're rushing to such a fast base, also, are we going into... If we had a 1-1-1 into CC, and because it's Cure, I'd be leaning towards maybe another factory, but there's no starport, so racks. So he's getting to his own biotank setup. But specifically, this really does kick in once the third base gets saturated. Because of the faster third, it means faster 2-base saturation, because we're making 3 SCVs at a time, and faster 3-base saturation as well, because it's going to be taken earlier. So this is, once the third base gets up and running, that's when the Cure can really spike up in supply. He has to get there first. And can he? Because we have 2 gates in the main, we have 1 gateway here at the natural, 3-gate Blink. 3-gate Blink Stalker waiting for the War Prism, and MaxPax he's pushing. So MaxPax is being the aggressor. He hasn't scouted the main base, but he's being aggressive nonetheless. And we'll see if Cure can get away with his build. So MaxPax he moves out. looking at the setup here, we have 2 tanks. We have one here in the main, one in between the main base and the natural. There is a way here behind the mineral line. That is true. That is out of range of the tank. We have double, Jesus, double bunker at the natural. Este cure. We didn't mention, though, that there is a position here behind the mineral line, and mining is denied. Yeah, mining is denied. SCV is going to be going down. As we mentioned, there was an opening. Rotates into the main. Does blink in, gets one more SCV. 3 in total. Nothing major. I guess 3 SCVs. Observers moving in. And the observer does confirm the command center. Yeah, Max actually knows. So he sees the greed of Cure. Going back in. Once again, the tank is too far back. Gets 2 more SCVs. Oh, 1 more even. Just 1. Stalker's moving in. And behind this, we do see MaxPax working towards Storm. So Storm is on the way as the splash damage of choice. Storm, charge, gateway explosion, 3 base saturation. And it's all about just delaying the 3rd base. Containing Cure on 2 bases for as long as possible. As you can see, Cure is getting oversaturated. He wants to expand, but he can't. And basically, Cure should be stuck on 2 bases until Stim finishes. Once Stim is done, then he can start to break out. Oh, he's being a little bit premature. It's lining up. It's lining up with Stim. There's the recall. As the CC is deflected. Here comes the mass on siege. Here comes the bio army. And Max actually has to pull away. Does pull out. How many storms? Jesus, 6? 5. Okay, 5 High Templar, 5 storms. The army's clumped up. Tanks are unsieged. He's going in. And the storms are coming. No, no. And he can't siege. The boys are being pulled. Storm on the tanks. Tanks are going to be going down. Remember, there's 5 storms. Jesus. And every tank is going to fall. Oof. To that final storm. At the same time, Zell's taking it into the mineral line. Not getting major damage. And Kuriki will hold. Does hold on. Does survive. Thankfully, didn't lose too much. He lost 7 SCVs in total. Could have been so much worse. And we spoke about it, right? Cure, his big power spike is when he gets his 3rd base up. His 3rd base, it's up. It's fully operational. And now you can see Cure taking the supply lead. So far he's gone away with his build. And we'll see if Cure can snowball out of control and end the game from here. Now remember, MaxPax just threw away 5 High Templar. There's 3 left. 3 High Templar, soon to be 3 Storms. And is that enough? Cure is pushing. He breaks out. We gotta count those storms. You can see Cure with the free split. He can end the game here. He can try. That's the first storm. There's 2 left. 2 storms remaining. So far, nice spread. There's the 2nd storm. Going for High Templar, and oh, he gets it! Oh, barely. Just barely gets High Templar. That's it when it comes to storms, and Q is going for the kill. Is going for the throat. Stutter steps back. Oh, there's 1 more storm available. High Templar, there's the NG overcharge. And is it enough? It's close. The Colossus arrives just barely in time. Whew. And MaxPax holds on. Again, a very clutch hold here. He was so close to breaking, but the Colossus does keep MaxPax alive. Ooh, meanwhile, Zeldaron buys. So the counterattack's delaying Cure. And as time goes on, MaxPax is building up more Colossus. It's getting more secure. MaxPax being proactive. He's moving in. Remember, the tank count was reset. Drop into the main. MaxPax does move in. Once again, boys are being pulled. the bio. It's going to be 6 SCVs. Got 2 more storms. Oh! One zone's away. There's 1 storm left. Storm does actually connect. And catching out some marauders. Ooh, but MaxPax overextends. Yeah, big overextension. Colossus goes down. He's holding. But it will cost him 14 SCVs. Curie defends, but economically he is struggling, and behind this, MaxPax is on 4 bases, remember that. He's on 4, soon to be 5 expansions. His mineral lines have been untouched. And that lead, that advantage that Curie had, the economic lead, is not really there anymore. It's not there anymore. He had it, he lost it. Storm the main army, more Colossus moving in, 1 Colossus will get sniped. Oh god, but the storms. They do connect. Catching another ghost. Goes down. Cell save delay reinforcements. And Curry turns everything around, turns everything back around. And once again, MaxPax's mineral line is untouched. His 5th base is about to finish. And up until this point, Secure, he had that supply advantage. Not anymore. Not anymore, Pat. And again, for the most part, Curie got away with his build, right? He got away with his build, he got away with his faster TC. He had his big power spike, but again, he missed his window. And now MaxPax should be able to gain full map control. The next big kind of a hurdle here for the Cure, for the Terran, is the 4th. Can he actually land and saturate his 4th base? Can he pull this off? He's turned away. You can see now MaxPax take that supply lead. It's getting larger and larger, and MaxPax is going to be the first to max out. The first to max. Right now it's on Cure to turtle up. So he has to turtle up as hard as he can. He has relinquished map control. He cannot fight for it. He cannot fight out in the open. And the goal here for Cure should be to turtle until he maxes out. The problem, though, of course, is going to be that MaxPax, he's already maxed out himself, and now should be trading inefficiently. Like, the goal here for the Protoss player is, even though, like, he cannot kill Cure, he should be going in and trading out Zealots, trading out his army, and crippling Cure, stopping him from maxing and perfecting his forces. If Cure can get into Mass Liberator Viking, then Cure can outscale MaxPax, but only if he can get there. Mass Live Viking Ghost specifically. Speaking of, EMP does land. That's an EMP. Bailey does not get the Colossus. Storm is coming in. Turns away the Vikings. Let's catch 1 High Templar. EMPs are solid so far, but the High Templar they do lag behind. Now moving in. Storm lands. And lands one of the storms. Lands the others as well. Jeez. The storms, they cover everything. Yeah, storms, they blanket the army. And MaxPax, he'll win the fight. He'll win the fight. He could even just keep pushing. The storms were crazy. Gotta respect the storms. Getting another ghost. And MaxPax, he's just going for the kill. If you recall, I did mention now this was only meant to trade, but I mean the fight went so good. It went so well that MaxPax, he just keep going. He just keep pushing. The storms were not meant to connect as well as they did. And with that, he's just going for the kill. He's going for the throw back. Big of MetaMax, GG gets called, and MaxPax takes game number 1. Whew, GG. MaxPax takes the lead in the series, and again, a very intense back and forth here. Initially, Cure, he had the advantage, he had momentum, he got away with a faster third TC, and he was almost killing MaxPax when it came to the first push. I'm referring to the defense where MaxPax had 5 High Templar. And sorry, that was when he first attacked. The fight went poorly, he had 3 High Templar back at home to defend, and he barely held on with his Storms, he barely put enough time for his Colossus to arrive. And then GG. Essentially, GG well played. After that moment, we saw that MaxPax was able to gain map control, take a lead from there, max out, and then end the game. GG. GG well played. Whew, MaxPax takes game number 1, and now we're jumping into game number 2. Loading into Persephone. And this morning, in the top left-hand corner of Persephone, we have the Danish Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing Storm Gaming. It's lining up with his team. It is MaxPax. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the blue Terran for Team Liquid. It is Cure. Here we go. Our second game, and again, Cure, he went for a very greedy build last game, going for the faster TC, did get away with it, did saturate his third base quite quickly, took that supply lead early on, and that was meant to kill, but again, barely did not have enough. This time, we should not be going for the same build. We should be seeing something different, either a double gas opener, or maybe something more standard, something more drop heavy. We'll keep an eye on Cure. Yep, double gas. So double gas, faster factory, delayed CC out of our Terran player. Makes sense. Does make sense here. It's a big sonic flood. Oh no. It's the MaxPax. But I do appreciate the last game was very back and forth. They both had their moments, they both had their kind of windows of opportunity. Now from here we can see Cure going to a more committed Widowmine drop, into faster Starport, into faster Banshee play, into more committed Banshee play. Keep an eye on Cure. Sure, you can go Reactor Reaper Hellion. Go Reactor Hellion to Hellion drop. He's got options. Cure does move out. He pokes in, CC on location, Stargate open at a MaxPax, bold move. Does open Stargates. Now there's a bit of a give and take here. On the one hand, the rush distance by air specifically on this map is quite short. So true, shorter rush distance by air. Going for a Stargate does allow you to gain map control, does allow you to hunt down drop play, that is true. The downside of Stargate play is that you are very vulnerable to 2-base all-ins. Think your early tank pushes, early bio pushes specifically. Phoenixes, they can lift up tanks one at a time. True, they can lift up these high-tech units, but when you're going for an all-in, you pull the boys with it and you have all these Marines to support as well. So if you remember, Stargate openers and Stargate play was very common in 2023, and even coming into 2024 as well. Like, it was very, very common. You'd see Phoenix Colossus almost every game back in the early years of COVID. But with the rise of aggression from the side of Terran, then all-ins kind of fell off. Sorry, I should say all-ins were spiked, as they spiked up in popularity, and Stargate play did fall off. But Phoenix Colossus was a big part of StarCraft for a couple of years. Made PvT a lot more stale. Reapers are all going to go down. They confirm, they get 2 probe kills, and they get eyes on the Stargate, on the Phoenixes. Aliens, they bust into the natural. So far we get some okay damage. Gets 3 probes. Yes, okay. But Curie's not set up to be aggressive back at home. He's reacting out Marines. Third TC is on the way. Okay, he's going to be defensive. So he will forego map control. He got 3 probe kills. I mean, it was 3 probes for 3 Reapers. Not the best trades for Cure. Oh. And now MaxPax has gained map control. MaxPax should be able to contain, and we'll see if we actually go old school and actually go for the Robo into Colossus production. The other option is to go into charge, into a very heavy Zealot composition instead. It's usually one or the other. It's MaxPax, he wants his third. As they poke in, they get 2 more CVs. They pull away, they break the lock on. And it is not going to be Phoenix Colossus, it's going to be Phoenix into what should be +1 in charge. I say what should be. Stalkers have the same role as Phoenixes, where they're both designed to hunt down drops and contain the opponent. Usually you don't go for both. But we'll see. Does move out. There we go, charge is on the way. As you mentioned, you typically go Phoenixes plus charge or Colossus. And Curry's committed. He's committed, he's moving out. He's got the Cyclones, Vikings, Widowmines. He has plenty of anti-air here. And it's going to be a clutch hold for MaxPax. It's not going to be easy. I did mention that these early pushes are what is the weak point about Stargate play. But remember, this is not an all-in. It's a Stalker. The shield battery putting in a little work. So I'll save the Stalker. You're going to be sent away. Buying enough time for the Phoenixes. And Max actually should be fine here. I'll try to force friendly fire, not bad. Oh, he will lose the second Phoenix. And second Phoenix goes down, but alas, like here he will lose everything. Phoenix is being replaced. And MaxPax holds. Holds, he defends. Does defend. Storm is now on the way. And we're in a really awkward game set here. I mean, Cure, he at least does get his third base up. Third base is getting saturated. MaxPax shouldn't be able to stop him. Shouldn't be. Yeah, we even have safety turrets. Cure set up. And the game continues. And I would say for the most part, MaxPax got away with his greed, right? He got away with the Stargate play, he defended against the push, he contained his opponent, shut down any drop play, and now we're building up towards the mid-game. Second Robo, double Colossus production, Storm is on the way, we're kind of just building up and embracing a longer game. Right now, MaxPax is at his weakest, but that window is closing. Again, MaxPax, he has to wait a little bit longer for the beta to finish and for his Colossus production to begin. Until then, he has to keep Cure busy. It's 4 more CVs. Cure commits. Yeah, he sends it. Sends it across the map, and again, he should hit before the Colossus arrive. Just barely. Cure's pushing. Max actually knows something is wrong. I mean, hey, the Phoenixes were left alone. He got 4 CVs, and Cure didn't react. There's a scan. Max actually reacts. He's got 4 High Templar. He's got his Storms. First one lands. Oof, yeah, lands the first. Army goes back in. There's a second storm. Oh no! Jesus, he clumps up so much. And this army is one storm away from going down. And there it is. Yeah, there's a final storm. There's still one more storm left. Oof. And Curie takes the storms to the face at the same time. Prism across the map. We have Zealous in the main, Zealous in the natural. A warp in here towards the third. And Curie turns around. Turns around. Races back. And we spoke about it. This was the window of time before Colossus, but now they've arrived. Right now there's 2, soon to be 3 Colossi. MaxPax, he made it, and soon he can be the aggressor. He's been defending up until he can build up, and there it is. 2 more Colossus are on the way. He's waiting for his next 2, then he can push. Oh boy. Curie's in a rough position. He's working on his 4th command center, that is true, but I don't know if he's going to get it up and running, to be honest. MaxPax is going to have 4 Colossus. He's going to have 5 by Templar. His War Prism did just get sniped, so he has to wait. There you go, Prism's being rebuilt. Curie's coming to him. So I'm moving in, picks up a Phoenix. EMPs are connecting. So he can make a new style and go Phoenix Archon. That sounds like the worst style. Oh no. Sounds very gas heavy. MaxPax does move out. It's pushing on the right hand side. Thankfully there is a turret in position, a couple of turrets actually. So the Prism may just get sniped. Oh, oh my god. Miss Force back. Still going for the warp in, going for the wrong right at the third. Easy connecting. Here comes the storm. Storm lands. There's about 4 more storms behind this. Oh god, god. The storms are landing. Gee, stop standing in the storms. Yeah, he'll take it all. He'll take it all to the face. The army crumbles. Cure. Respect the storms. Papi, he plummets in supply. Oh god. And MaxPax is just going for the kill. He's going for the kill at this point. Again, the army is just so heavily battered, so heavily bruised. Zealous break the third. There's still plenty of storms left. Ah. Here, he spent too much time on Reddit. He's like, oh, the storms don't do damage anymore, right? Like, no, they do. GG gets called. And MaxPax will take the series 2-0. GG. GG, well played, MaxPax. Both game 1 and game 2, the storms were insane. Mainly because in game 1 it was Cure. He was actually pulling back into the storms too soon. He was pulling back in, so storms were actually getting more damage. Here in the second game, I mean, when it came to the push on the right hand side, the same thing occurred where he moved back in too soon. And likewise here defensively, he just stood in it. He just stood in all the storms. We got max damage out of them from the side of MaxPax, and GG. GG, well played, was able to break through, break that army. It was still a really difficult position to be in. Even without those storms, we did mention it, how we had a bit of a more passive, like early to mid game. MaxPax was being greedy by going Stargate, Phoenixes into his 4-base setup, into his Colossus. He got away with it, so he kind of had momentum himself. GG. GG, well played. With that, congratulations, MaxPax does advance on into the next round, and we do have our next series. We're going to be following MaxPax into the semifinals. It's going to be a PvZ between MaxPax and YoungYakov. Let's go. Kira's going back to Reddit. Oh no. Oh no. here for your own mental state. Stay away, buddy. Stay away. The smudge. There we go. Here we go. MaxPax is up against YoungYakov in the semifinals. Again, impressive run here from Yakov to make it this far. Yakov, he's been looking really strong as of late. I did mention this previously a couple of months ago, actually at the start of the year. Wayne used to be what, top 5 Zerg player in Europe, right? Wayne, he was the Zerg player from the CIS region, and YoungYakov was kind of like lurking and always staying in his shadow. But from the beginning of this year, Wayne, he stepped away. He has been less active. He still plays every now and then, but Wayne has been very, very inactive compared to previous years in 2025. And in his absence, YoungYakov has risen to the challenge. He's risen up in skill quite heavily. He's been grinding a lot this year as well. I think a lot of players and a lot of just personalities have taken note of that. And yeah, it's been really cool to see YoungYakov's growth over time. I think an example of that is that we just casted YoungYakov. He took down Nightmare. This was a couple of days ago. He beat Percival, what, 2 days ago as well in the Turtle Tussle. It's been popping off. But now he's up against the best Protoss in Europe. He's... Let's go. We're jumping into the semifinals. Best of 3 between Yakov and MaxPax. At this point, I'd say, what, Yakov is top 4 Zerg player in Europe? Top 4. Just behind herO, Raynor, and Lambo. I'd place YoungYakov above Wayne, above a Laser. As Laser has, you know, going to Age of Empires. Feels bad, man. But here we go. Here we go. Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Tokamak, we have the Danish Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss representing Sashom Gaming. It is MaxPax. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Zerg player. The Zerg player himself. It is YoungYakov. We go. As Yakov does go for his 15-15, 15 hatch into 15 pool. Or into overload, I should say. With this, he gets his hatchery down on time without being blocked. And we're settling in. Now, when it comes to PvZ in the latest patch, it hasn't really changed too much. I would say the Protoss players have a stronger defensive position, especially in this older map pool, in the map pool with Tokamak. It will be quite difficult for the Zerg player to break a defending Protoss on 4 bases. So I'm going to give MaxPax the edge here, but there are ways to be quirky, there are ways to be cheeky. We could see YoungYakov going to Mutas, for example, especially with the latest patch, with the change to the Spire. Going into Mutas is more accessible now in this matchup, if you can keep it hidden, right? If you can keep the Spire hidden, if you can get away with a hidden Spire, you can get into Muta play and wreak havoc. So that's going to be on the table here for YoungYakov. Otherwise, you could try to play a longer macro game here against MaxPax. It will not be easy, not at all. I would favor MaxPax there, but we'll see. The problem is that we've commonly seen a lot of 3-base all-ins from Zerg players, right? Like Solar, for example, exclusively goes for all-ins. Again, we casted him last night against Classic, and we never saw a macro game between the two of them. We never saw the late game, I should say, between Solar and Classic. So it's been very, very common to go for these big 3-base all-ins. But the issue is that in this previous map pool, maps like Tokamak, it is very difficult to all-in on. Very, very difficult. Because it's so safe and so secure. It shows how different the new map pool is, and you're already starting to see that when it comes to tournament results. I don't know if you noticed, but Zerg players have been having more success in the last week of play. In the last week. They've been having a lot more success, and I would say a big part of that is the map pool. I would say that in the new map pool, I don't think there is a map as defensive as Tokamak. Like this is like the Protoss map, right? You can very easily set up on 3, 4, 5 bases and get into Skytals here. Like that is what Tokamak is known for. In the new map pool, I don't think there's a comparable map. I would say the closest map to this is maybe there's 2 of them. There's White Rabbits, and I keep getting the other one. Not even Celestial. God, I have to open it up. Tuna Cup 113. Oh, Winter Madness, that's it. I think the closest that you get to Tokamak is Winter Madness, but even then, I think I would say that the rotations here on Tokamak are shorter than that on Winter Madness. Because you have flanking 3rd and 4th base, whereas Winter Madness you expand linearly away from your natural. So rotations take longer. So yeah, I don't think there's as much of a comparable map here. We have a Link Foot, Jesus. Yakov has got 10 more Lings on the way, and the goal here should be to break the third. To break the third base, let's go. That's Oracle pokes in. And gets maybe one. One drone goes down, gets two, gets three. Oh, not bad. It gets three workers at the same time. Lings get across the map. The Oracle's in position. And this Link float was not worth it. Again, YoungYakov committed so heavily into these Lings. These could have been drones. These could have been drones. These could have been workers. And they failed to get damage done across the map. He rotates back around. The Oracle's in position. Yeah, the Lings, they get nothing. Behind this, Forge on the way, earlier Twilight Council into Blink. So MaxPax is building up. And Yakov is in a rough position here. He should be up in drones, up heavily, right? He should be up to what, 53, 54? Should be working towards a fourth base. Again, still droning, still saturating, catching up. Going lair first. Okay. Opening up the lair. This tells us that this most likely won't be Ling Hydra. As Lings, they do get a probe. They get two. Eva Chamber's on the way. We're expecting a Roach Warren alongside this. We'll keep an eye on YoungYakov. Gases are being taken. Alienness, no Roach Warren, okay. Does go for the nest, and I'm curious, are we actually going for the Spire? We brought up Mutas at the beginning of the series, beginning of the game. I mean, you can still just very much go for a Hydra then. It could just be a Ling Bane Hydra. We're waiting for the tech. Stalkers are poking in. Blink is almost done. Oof, Stasis goes off. And we're still waiting for the tech. We have the answer, Hydra. Okay, so Ling Bane Hydra here from YoungYakov. He's not going for the Roach Warren. He's going for a delayed +1. So he does see the Stasis. Stasis goes up. And Stalkers, they keep gaining value. Getting a Queen. He wants the expansion. He wants it. Oh, it's gonna finish. The hatchery does complete. Can he get a kill? I cannot. Yakov, he will defend. Does force out the Stalkers. It's gonna be 3-4 Stalkers going down. Max actually just keeps rallying in. Finally force the back off. Now Yakov, this base is still very low. I'm still a little bit concerned here. The fourth base is very low. And MaxPax, I'm sure he still wants that fourth. Speaking of. Oh, tempted. Very tempted to dive. And from here we're calming down. From here we're calming down. We're building up. MaxPax working towards Storm. He pulls away the Stalkers. He doesn't lose too much. The revelation confirms Hydras, so now he knows. MaxPax doesn't actually scout the tech itself, but he sees the Hydra, so he knows no Mutas. MaxPax knows he's safe. And this is where I'm a little bit concerned for YoungYakov. I mentioned at the beginning of this game how I mean, compared to the current map pool, maps like Toka Map are very defensive. You can see it here. We have cannons and shield batteries on the way. You can see on 4 bases, there's only 2 attack paths. There's one here towards the top side and one here towards the south side. So it is very difficult to break a turtling Protoss player, which means Skytoss. Yep, you can just go in. You just go into Skytoss, Fleet Beacon, second Stargate, in towards Tempest production. MaxPax, he can chill and max out. Meanwhile, YoungYakov, he's taking up, he's going for the infestation bit. This tells us Hive Tech, most likely Lurker Tech as well. But the problem here is that because of the early game, Yakov, he's late to tech up like this. Because of the late droning, because of the late saturation. So let's try to move in. Storms do zone away. Here comes that Lurker Den, as you mentioned. Like, we're taking up into Lurkers. Typically, if your early game is a little bit cleaner, if you're able to have better saturation, faster 4th base, faster 5th base, and just droning up to 80 plus workers earlier on, then you should be able to hit with Lurkers before Skytoss. But you can see the comparison here, where the Lurker Den is still in the way and the Fleet Beacon's already done. Now, thankfully, there's only 1 Stargate. There's no second Stargate. I would say that MaxPax could get away with it. He could have gotten away with the second Stargate, but it looks like he's only going for the mothership, and he's sticking with a ground composition. So MaxPax, he's not being as greedy as he otherwise could be. There we go. Now we get the second Stargate, but again, as I mentioned, this could have been thrown down earlier, and we could already see Tempest right now. So MaxPax, his production is late because he's playing safe. He was a little bit scared. This is giving YoungYakov the opportunity to build up his Lurkers, and now there actually is a window in time where he can have his Lurkers out before Skytoss. Oh god. Meanwhile, Zelce busts into the main base. Main army towards the 5th. Bailings are going to be denied. They don't quite connect. The friendly fire. Friendly fire kills the observer, but the hatchery goes down. That's all that MaxPax needed. Kills the base, and it kills 11 drones. Oof. And now I can just pull away and build up those Tempests. Stasis Trap should friendly fire. Are you also saying that Bailing should friendly fire? Oh no. Feels like Bane, man. If you're referring to the attack that occurred here earlier at the 4th base, I mean, we tried to emphasize that a big reason for how much damage it was dealing was because of the rough early game of YoungYakov. Like, he's just been playing from behind. Yeah, Storms on the Lings. Nobody gets shut down. MaxPax just posturing here in the center, building up more Tempest. And again, MaxPax has just been looking very, very comfortable here. They try to move in. Storms on Ling Bane. Oof, Hydras, they do get caught. Nice Storms out of MaxPax. And he'll deny another expansion. Ooh, that's a kill. Yeah, kill, not a cancel. Corpses are punished. MaxPax moving in. The likewise does take the Storm to the face. The Hydras get out of there. Oh, Lurkers, they corner some of the High Templar. Not bad, they get one. One Templar goes down. MaxPax here overextends. We'll lose a Tempest, and we'll lose a second Tempest as well. So again, nice fight here from YoungYakov. Catching MaxPax on creep. As he should not have been this far in. So MaxPax making a mistake. YoungYakov does capitalize, but he is still losing bases. I mean, impressively, the hatchery's still alive. It's been low for so long, but still barely hanging on there. Shout out to the hatchery. Oh. You know, more side defense. MaxPax, he has a massive bank to work with. And again, there's barely any map presence and barely any crease red here for the Zerg. Yakov, he's in a rough position. Behind this, Yakov is trying to build up his corruptors, working on +1. Trying to get there. To appreciate the pre-split or the split push from MaxPax. Let's move it on the right. Storm zone away. MaxPax pulls back, and now the expansion is exposed. MaxPax, he can shell away at the expansion here. He's pulling back. Goes in, but the army's in position. You just bully it. Oh. Storm zones away. Doesn't quite land those volleys. Once again, YoungYakov just being pulled apart, losing more lurkers. Oh. If he tries to go for it once again, he's going to be denied. SP back on the Viper. Hatchery, the hatchery finally goes down. The base falls. And again, Yakov is stuck on 3 bases. He's stuck on, what, a 3-base economy. Half a base at the 3rd base, half a base here at the 4th. That. Meanwhile, we're recalling on the army. Okay. Here come the reinforcements. Yeah, recalls in. Archons, a break on through. GG gets called, and MaxPax takes game number 1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. An impressive finale there from MaxPax. You rarely see a recall to reinforce a battling army. I don't think, we rarely see that. But GG, well played. And again, just a really rough start there for YoungYakov. Winding it back, remember, Yakov, he invested so heavily into a Ling Flood that achieved at 0 damage, which means he set himself behind. He had late saturation, late 3-base saturation. He had a smaller army as a result, and he had less to defend his 4th base as a result as well. So it was just a really rough start there for YoungYakov. He fell behind, he stayed behind. But now we're getting into game 2. Jumping into game 2 here and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Ruby Rock, we have the Danish Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss for System Gaming. It is MaxPax. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Zerg player, the red Zerg player himself. It is YoungYakov. Go. It's welcome to Ruby Rock. Now, this is a much smaller map. I would say this is a map that is a little bit more favored towards aggression and all-ins. So it's almost like the polar opposite, of Tokamak, right? We were just on Tokamak. Tokamak, it is so easy to turtle up on 4 bases and get a 5th and get a 6th base. And you saw it, right? MaxPax, tell me, at what point last game did he ever lose any probes? Like there was never any run-bys or harassment that really dealt any meaningful damage, because MaxPax was heavily fortified with just walls of cannons and shield batteries at his 3rd, his 4th, his 5th base. But here, welcome to Ruby Rock. Ruby Rock has a shorter rush distance by ground, has a much more open 3rd, so you can see here a very wide entrance into the 3rd base. Likewise, you can see here a wide entrance into the natural. You can see here a wide entrance into the 4th. Not just that, but also the 4th and the 3rd, or the 2 3rd base options, don't have a ramp coming into them. There's a small narrow ramp here, that's true, but armies, they mainly come in from the left hand side instead, so there's no elevated position either. So here on Ruby Rock, it is more difficult to defend and turtle up on 4 bases. Not impossible, but just more difficult. As a result, we often see a lot of all-ins, a lot of 3-base all-ins from Zerg on this map. Likewise, we have seen some Protoss aggression here as well, going for early blink timings, going for more gateways, and being more in the face of the Zerg player as well. So Protoss players have also been adapting to these more aggressive maps with their own aggression in kind. So we should be seeing something more dynamic here between the two players, and we should be seeing YoungYakov look a little bit more comfortable here as well. But we'll see. So far, standard openers. Nothing crazy yet. Go. Instead for a Storm nerf, that's actually a nerf and not an improvement to zoning. I would say that it is an improvement to zoning. I would say that PvT has benefited from the Storm change because Storm is less impactful, or its burst of damage has been reduced. It does. I mean, there's a reason why we've seen a lot more mid game and a lot more mid to late game TVP as well. So I would say that TVP is healthier than it once was, but I would say that this matchup PvZ is it is easier to turtle, right? I do think that zoning is the Storm has a very different role here in this matchup. It is better at defending, it is better at protecting and turtling up on 4 bases, so it's a stronger tool in that sense in PvZ. But I would also say that a lot of the new maps, like Ruby Rock, like Tourmaline, like 10,000 Feet, Celestial Enclave, Old Republic, a lot of them actually make it difficult to expand. So there's a bit of an offset when it comes to the maps and how the new maps work. Meanwhile, that's an earlier Twilight Council. You have my attention. We spoke about it, right? We spoke about how, hey, aggression is more favored here, and we are seeing something different out of MaxPax. Extra gateways, late forge. Okay. So delayed forge here from MaxPax. There's a chance that this might be Glaive Adepts. If there's no forge entirely, should be Glaives. If we go for a late forge, should be Blink. Late forge. Okay, late forge, he's going into Blink. Now, because this forge is so late, the goal here is to warp in extra Stalkers, is to push out earlier, and to break the 4th base. To break the 4th base of YoungYakov. To support the Oracles. And to shut down the Zerg early on. The downside here for Protoss is that his upgrades are going to be delayed. That is true. So +1 is going to be later, +2 is going to be later. And we'll see if MaxPax can break that 4th. Still waiting for the warp-ins. So waiting. We can see that YoungYakov is playing it safe, going Ling Roach. So he's throwing down the Roach Horn. There's the 4th base, and here comes MaxPax. As we mentioned, the target is the 4th, or it should be. MaxPax, he moves out. And he rotates over. He's gonna have 2 Oracles to protect this army. And he does find the 4th. There's Revelation. We'll see if MaxPax can. If YoungYakov can save this. As he has a lot of Zerglings. It'll come down to the stasis traps. Speaking of the first one, does connect. Brutal connection. As the Lordlings are getting caught out, and this base is so much more exposed, and he's going for it. He's going to get it as well. We only have a handful of Lings. Again, that stasis was insane. He kites well. And Yakov, I mean, he's got more Lings on the way at least. Oh, stasis does run out, but oh, the other one doesn't connect. Okay. Can he hold on? Another stasis behind this. Yakov once again baits it out. Nice control here by YoungYakov, and he holds. Whew, he does hold on, gets a full surround as well. and shuts down all the stalkers, even chasing out whatever's left. There's a recall. He saves 3-2. 2 stalkers get away, and a very nice defense here by YoungYakov. Again, the initial stasis trap was brutal, and it almost looked like MaxPax was going to break the base then and there, but the second and third stasis trap were lackluster. They did not connect, and now MaxPax is in trouble. Again, these were expensive losses for MaxPax. The goal there was to break the fourth. He only got it down to half HP. And he lost so many stalkers. He lost how many? He lost 8 stalkers in the process. And now Yakov, he's droning. He's building up. I believe he doesn't have a hydrogen. Yeah, no hydrogen, which is a little bit concerning. It's a pylon. The pylon pulls away. He's building up roaches. He's not taking into hydras. He's going for a more mid-tier army, going Lingbane Roach Ravager. And he's droning up to almost 80. Okay. And again, there's no further tech. There's no infestation bit, there's no hydrogen, there's no spire. We're just maxing out Lingbane Roach Ravager. This army doesn't scale well into a long game. Bear that in mind. This is basically an all-in by YoungYakov. If this fails to kill, if this fails to trade well and fails to break a base, then MaxPax will just build up a superior composition, a more efficient composition, and just outscale the Zerg. So this is a very risky playstyle here that YoungYakov is going for. Sky tosses, this is crazy. Fleet Beacon's on the way. It's a very fast Fleet Beacon. It's a bold move. Likewise, MaxPax is playing with fire. Zells hit the right hand side. Storms are coming in. Banelings, they do not connect. Stasis goes off. Oh, the High Templar! High Templar get caught out. You know, more storms. Oof. And Yakov, he does trade well here. Resets High Templar count. That means there's no defensive storms. No defensive storms here. We go to reinforce, we go to warp in. Roaches, they don't save the expansion. And Yakov, where do we go? We gotta go here and now. Remember, how many defensive storms are there? There's 5 High Templar, but 1 storm. Only 1 storm because they just warped in. So MaxPax needs time. He needs time for more storms. Roaches, they get a little bit of damage here. They're going to be cleaned up. Banelings, they head for the mineral line. They get a handful of probes. Wings going for the High Templar. Nice catch. He gets 5. Yeah, he gets all 5 High Templar. Massive pickoffs. Those are the final storms. And Yakov, he breaks the base. He breaks the expansion. This third base will go down. Yakov is popping up. But can Yakov get more than just the expansion? I mean, he needs to break the army. Builds the Nexus. Zelleron at the same time. Ooh, gets into the mineral line. Uh-oh. Does get in. Oh, the queens! No! they weren't even a part of the fight, actually. If you recall, and that's going to be 1 queen falling, losing 2, losing all 4. Oof. That's a lot of queens going down. 10, 11, 12 drones going to be falling here. We get Zelts into the main. And again, YoungYakov, he had a very nice fight. He was able to catch all the High Templar. He broke the base, but the Zealot run by. The Zealot run by is insane damage here. 12 drones going down. Drags everything back home. Queen count just got reset. And MaxPax is popping up. He's going for the kill. He's trying to go for the kill here. We'll lose one of the Immortals. But he can just keep rallying. And now pulling back. Just reinforcing. He's reinforcing. And if you recall, we spoke about this. How if YoungYakov failed to kill MaxPax, then he'd just be outscaled. And that's what's happening here and now. As we're building on more Archons, more Immortals. As better upgrades are finishing up for MaxPax. You can see Yakov is trying to macro out of this. He's taking up into a hive, but this hive is late. It's a late Hydrogen, it's a late Lurker 10 as well. Everything is late here for YoungYakov if he wants to go into a long game, into a macro game. And he's lost his opportunity. This one he's lost it. And MaxPax is popping off, takes down the expansion, gets into the mineral line. And again, Yakov, he was so close. he was so close, man. He was popping up. But the real MVPs this game was the Prism, right? The Zealot counterattack. Oh, nice connection. Banelings get crashed into the High Templar. More zealots have arrived. Getting on top of the roaches. And again, MaxPax, he has broken the fourth. Prism into the main base, more zealots into the main as well. Let's get more zealots. It's gonna be 17 drone kills. Aye, aye, aye. The Fleet Beacon never came into play, true. it was very greedy. It was very greedy to go for the Fleet Beacon when MaxPax did. Didn't make use of it. Couldn't make use of it. But again, the Zealot run-bys and the Zealot counterattacks, they brought him back in, crippling the economy, killing 30 drones throughout the course of this game, killing the expansions, delaying reinforcements. And MaxPax, he's almost maxed. He's almost maxed out. He's up 60 supply. So I'll say distract. We have two Zealot run-bys going on at once. Where the main army pushing in. GG gets called, and MaxPax will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the grand finals. GG. Whew. GG, well played. With that, MaxPax, he does claim the series here, but again, we had a really intense game too. Game 1 was more one-sided, 100%. Game 1 was very one-sided, like MaxPax was looking very comfortable on Tokamak, but here on Ruby Rock, we got chaotic, we got a little bit spicy. We had MaxPax going for the early blink timing, where he failed to kill the fourth base. He lost 8 Stalkers. That led into the all-in from YoungYakov. It was like a delayed all-in with Lingbane, Roach, Ravager, Queen. The Queens never took part. They were like in the middle of the map, they were just chilling. But we saw the counter all in there from YoungYakov. He broke the expansion, he got all the High Templar, he got some probe kills. It was nice damage, but he was losing too much across the map. He was losing too much back at home to the Zealot run-bys, the Zealot counterattacks, killing mineral lands, killing bases, delaying reinforcements, and allowing MaxPax to claw his way back in. Very impressive comeback there from MaxPax, despite everything being on fire and despite losing the expansion as well, still brought it back. GG. GG, well played. So impressive play there by MaxPax, and a shout out to YoungYakov again for making that final game at least as intense as it was, as that leads us into the next semifinals. So we're going to be going on a short break. Here. When we come back, we'll have the next semifinals match. MaxPax, he's in the grand finals. He's made it to the grand finals, and up next we're going to be featuring herO versus Solar after the break to determine who will play against MaxPax. So we will get there. For now though, take this time to get some snacks, get some food, get some water, drain your disruptors, massage your marines, and hydrate all of your hydras. We'll be back soon. We'll be back soon here with Solar and herO. See you soon. welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the semi-finals of the WardiTV Monday number 59. We just wrapped up with MaxPax versus YoungYakov, and MaxPax did advance on into those finals, and now we're here to determine who will join MaxPax in those grand finals. Will it be a Protoss or Zerg? Will it be herO or Solar? Let's go. Let us go. Let's find out. So jumping into game number 1, it's going to be on Tokamak. Let us go. And once again, we have the most defensive map in this tournament map pool. We are jumping in and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of a Tokamak. We have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing T1. It is herO. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the blue Zerg player. We have the South Korean Zerg representing Team Falcons. It is Solar. Go. As we're jumping into our best of 3, and again, I would say that's coming into a map like Tokamak, it is very defendable. You can set up on 3, 4, 5 bases relatively easily on this map and build up into a longer and later game. Hey, we saw that in the series between MaxPax and YoungYakov in game 1. But I would say that herO, he's a much more aggressive player. He's much more aggressive, he's much more assertive, more so than MaxPax. He is still willing to go into the late game, he's still willing to turtle up and build up into Skytles, 100%. He's willing to do so, but there's a higher chance that he might deviate from that and be more in your face earlier on. I would say out of the top 3 Protoss players in the world, out of Classic, MaxPax, and herO, I would say herO is the most aggressive of them. Most aggressive, the most chaotic, the most unpredictable. I mean, hey, we just casted herO in a best of 7 against Raynor, where herO did win, what was it, 4-1, and if not, yeah, 4-1, and herO, he went for a different cheese and different aggressive build every game, every single game, except for the final game, of course, where herO, he went double starport, he went into a Tempest Rush in one game, he went into Glaive Adepts another game, went for an early charge all in, he went for a proxy. Like every single game he did something different, and Raynor had a very hard time keeping up with herO. Keeping up with the unorthodox nature of what herO was up to. So we'll see if that trend continues here. As from here, we're going to settle in. Again, just getting into a gate expand and decide we're going to Stargate. Standard opener so far to herO. What we're really looking for is the timing of the Twilight Council. You know, how early is he going to get the Council? Does he go into early Blink? Does he go into early Glaives? Does he go into a Standard game? If you were to play Standard, this would be the best map for it, right? Best map for just going into a Stargate, getting his third base, and building up into the mid game. We'll see. Likewise, from the side of Solar, we're expecting Solar to be a little bit greedier here, whether it's going into mutas or cutting corners and rushing into a faster lurker den. That's kind of what we're expecting out of Solar on this map. Going for all-ins is difficult on Tokamak. It is quite difficult. Stargate is done. Oracle's on the way. No Void Ray. Let's poke in. herO pulls away. Getting his third base. And so far, so good. Likewise, you can see that Solar, he doesn't make an abundance of lings or anything like that. Does make enough here to defend. Actually going for his own counterattack. Back at home, the Two Adepts should be getting in position. If not, they will be surrounded. Yeah, Solar doesn't have enough. And lings, they do try to pull back. That is an early Twilight Council, earlier than MaxPax. Okay, so very early Council, gateways being thrown down, and there's a higher chance it's going to be Glaive Adepts, as that is a lot of gateways already, so 4 gates set up at a herO. No Fortune Sight. No Fortune Sight. We're expecting Glaives. Thankfully, Soul does go for a safety Roach Warren. He should be trying to wall up here at the natural. Should be. Oh, but we're getting damage done. Yeah, the Oracle gets 2 drones, forces out a gas geyser. And there it is, Glaive Adepts. As you mentioned, this Twilight Council was very, very early. After the Stargate, of course. After the third. It's the third base into Glaives. And if Solar drones up too much, if he skips Roach production, he's going to be in trouble. But again, thankfully, he does get a Roach Warren, so he has access to Roaches, which would be ideal. Whether or not he makes them, a different story. Picks in, pulls away. And there we go. Now he confirms we have Mass Adept coming across the map. So he's aware Roach production has begun. He's got 4 Roaches in production. But they only just began. They only just started. So he needs time. No wall. Yeah, there's no wall off. There's a tumor in the way. Never say don't commit. So far, so good. Roaches are popping out. And Solar, he looks like he will defend. So far, 0 damage. It's keeping up. Shade's not completing. Here we're going for the Queens. Going for the expansion even. Oh, Stasis goes up. Stasis goes off. The 4th base is going to be cancelled. Okay. Denies the 4th. Denies the 4th base. Once again, threatening a Shade. We do have a Spire on the way for Solar. Interesting. Going into Mutas. Bold move. Building up into Mutas. herO, he has not scouted. Not yet. And herO pulls away. Now, there's a couple of things going on here. On the one hand, herO, yes, he did deny the 4th base. That is nice damage, but you need to get more here. herO, he has all these Adepts, and they don't scale well into a longer game. So far, they've not paid for themselves. Likewise, Blink is late. Blink is late, a +1 is late, all these upgrades are delayed, the tech is delayed as well. Everything was delayed in favor of Mass Glaive Adept, and again, killing and denying a 4th base is not enough to really offset that. So I would say the Soul is in a better position. The Oracles, they rotate towards the natural, and they're going to be deflected, and the Oracles, they fail to scout the natural base, they fail to scout the Spire. Adepts, they're going for the 4th for a 2nd time. Let's go. Doesn't commit to the Shade. Some nice pickups. Gets a couple of Roaches. Takes down the Tumor. Going for the Queen. Thinking the Mutas, they have arrived. You can see Solar rattling everything across the map. herO's out of position. And that should be a cancel. Oh, so just diving on the Stalkers. And here he has to pull away. No shield battery at the natural here. He's not ready to defend. He's not ready for this. Mutas, they're making their way into the middle line. Adepts, they do make it back home. And the Mutas, they get into the main. So far, getting 3, 4, 5 probe kills. Oh, just 4. Nothing major yet. Here he does defend in time. He's getting his shield batteries, getting his cannons. Cannons at the main base, cannons at the natural. Here he's walling up. And this is where I would say the Mutas haven't really done much for themselves here. It does get 4 probes, does force herO back home, but he was going home anyway because of the run by. And the Oracles are still finding damage. 2 more drones, recalls back home. Oof, just in time. And Solar's maxed. Solar, he's maxed out. He's here to end the game with Ling Roach Ravager. He's not taking up no Hydras, no Hive Tech. herO's out of position. Yeah, completely. And with that, he's being zoned away. Phoenixes are doing what they can. Clouds, they do connect. Adepts are coming in from behind. We're getting top of the Roaches. And herO, can he barely hold on here? Yeah, Blink's on forward. That's a crazy Blink. He'll lose the Stalkers. And Solar, he has too much. He has too much. He will take down all the Stalkers. Archon does fall, boys are being pulled, and this is a tough defensive for herO. Again, here he was caught off guard, caught with his pants down. They'll still have the fourth, true. His fourth base is getting up. But the problem here is that herO, he has no Immortals, he has no High Templar, no Storm. Here he has purely a gateway composition. He shouldn't be able to defend. Shouldn't be. And slowly commits in. It's in, piles down. Oof, the main army. Piles are connecting. They're doing what they can, but again, like this army for herO should not be able to hold on. They shouldn't be able to survive this. Again, he has no tech behind this either. He has +2, which helps, I guess. But there's no like backbone to this army. That at least have more stalkers. He will lose the mineral line. And this all-in from Solar should overwhelm. Again, just a 3-base all-in, 68 workers. Did not hold back. And the mutas, unironically, did actually do their jobs. I mean, kind of. The reason why this did so well here at the third base is because herO, he was spread out because of the muta play. He had his Stalkers in the main base, he had his second Stalker army here at the fourth, and only had 2 Archons at the third. Like, he was woefully out of position. Could not defend at all. And Solar, he remaxes for the 3rd time. And this should end the game. Should end it. Start stepping in, getting on top of the final Archon. Lings, a couple of roaches, they do peel off, they do hit the 3rd. And this army's on its own. Yes, they hear a GG gets called, and Solar takes game number 1. Whew, GG. Winding it back, a reason why this scaled so well and why Solar snowballed out of control, a lot of it comes down to the Glaive Adepts. We spoke about it at the time, but what did Glaives do? Glaives delayed Blink, it delayed +1, but it also delayed the Robo, the Templar Archive, Storm, Immortal Production. Everything was delayed because of the Glaive Adepts, and they didn't do much. They canceled the 4th, right? They canceled the 4th base. They picked off like 2 roaches. They didn't get any economic damage. It allowed Solar to maintain his own economy, maintain himself, maintaining a lead coming into the mid game. And with that, he went into muta play and then just followed up with purely Ling Roach. He did not drone, did not saturate. GG. GG, well played. With that, we're getting into game 2, and we'll see if Solar can close it out here and now. See if he can close it out. As spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Ruby Rock, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the red Protoss down in the series. We'll see if he can bounce back and force the ace match. It is a herO. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the blue Zerg, the blue Zerg himself representing Team Falcons. It is Solar. And again, herO being cheeky last game with Glaive Adepts did not pay off, was not worth it, and we'll see what he goes for here. I'll be honest, I would have preferred Glaive Adepts here on Ruby Rock. Welcome to Ruby Rock. Ruby Rock is a much more smaller map, more aggressive map as well, has more exposed 3rd and 4th bases. Aggression and all-ins, they do hit harder on this map. Hey, for example, we just saw YoungYakov versus MaxPax, where Yakov was relatively successful with his all-in, breaking the expansion of MaxPax, but it was the run-bys and counterattacks that actually tore him apart and allowed MaxPax to recover in that game. So we're expecting something similar here. Solar last game, he got workers early, he cut workers at 3-base saturation, and he went for a Ling Roach all-in, or Ling Bane Roach Ravager all-in. We could see the same thing here, we could see a Ling Hydra all-in. We're expecting Solar to cut workers at some point, and cut tech. And we'll see how herO will handle that. We'll see if he can. Sopla, ¿cómo vamos? Ah, bueno, buenos días, man. Buenos días. Bienvenidos. We're okay, we're okay. Estamos bien. Un poco cansado. Hemos dormido, ¿qué? Como 3 horas. 3, 4 horas. Ay, ay, ay. Casi nada, man. Casi nada. Estoy un poco cansado. Voy a dormir después de esto. Me voy a mimir. Oh, yeah. Buenos días, man. Buenos días. Waves did almost nothing true. Yeah. It was just a really rough start for herO. Just investing into that tech and for it not to pay for itself. And now we have our initial Stargate. And we'll see if herO goes for another early Twilight Council. So we'll keep an eye on his tech. Remember, last game he went for a Stargate into a third base, into a very early Twilight Council with Glaives. I don't expect to see that 2 games in a row. I would have preferred Glaives here on a smaller map like Ruby Rock, but I'll actually sort in game 1 instead. Being active, keeping tabs on Solar. Oh, gets a tumor. Takes down the tumor, and from here we should be expanding. As that going to be hidden here towards the top side. herO does go for a second gateway first before expanding. Now, because these steps don't go back home, it does mean that herO, his third base is going to be a little bit more exposed. And a little bit more vulnerable as he gets the tumor once again. Takes down the tumor twice, gets 2 drones, adapts to shading in. And that is an early Evo chamber. Solo going for early +1 melee. So early upgrades. Denies mining at the third base. Once again, threatening a shade. Keeping Solo busy. Oh, gets a drone. And this time standard follow-up. So a much later Twilight Council into Forge, so +1 on Blink. Standard play out of herO. Stasis will go up, and not bad. Yeah, 2 stasis traps, 1 here towards the south side, 1 towards the top, covering half the mineral line. Este herO. Finding damage. More than he should. Ooh, no support the third. Gets another 2 drones. Gets another 3 drones even, okay. Gets 3, gets 4. 4 workers going down, does pull away, gets a revelation, and so far this has been a pretty nice start here for herO, killing 7 drones and also catching some stasis traps in the main. Not a bad start. From here, herO he defends his third base. We have some vanilla devs moving out, just 5. Designed to harass. Shading towards the third base. Oracles into the main. The devs say commit, more drones gonna be falling. Solar is getting pulled apart here. Nice reaction to the stasis. Oh no, he comes back too soon. It comes back too soon. 8 drones going down. Ay, ay, ay. And remember, these adepts, we want to get rid of them. They don't scale well. So adepts are thrown away. They get 8 more workers. Another stasis into the main base. Okay, it does overextend. And miscontrol by herO. He was throwing down the stasis within range of the spore. So he had to pull back. And how many gateways? That is the question here. We're building up to 7. Yeah, 5 in the main, 2 at the natural. Are we going? Okay, we're not. I was going to say, we're going for an AK 3-base all-in. Gases are on the way. These gases are indicative here that we're probably going to be taking up in towards either Storm or Colossus. We have the answer, Storm. So here is macro. He's macroing up. He's taking up. Harassment continues. Solo trying to do some counter damage, but last is an army in position. And here is pushing. Again, this is a later move out, 7 minutes. He's got blink, I should say, blink +1. There's barely any creep. Just because so many tumors have gone down. But there are plenty of Zerglings. Yeah, plenty of Lings. So it's gonna be forced back. Now Solo, he should have enough to save the expansion, but here is just here to trade. Here to trade. Once again, ooh, stage trap gets baited. Nice bait out of Solar. And splashing on the army. Pulls away. Another stage trap goes up, a slightly better connection, but Solo holds. Hydras have arrived. More Hydras are amassing. We have a Hydra range on the way, +1 range as well. Here he's playing with fire here. Gets a Hydra. Gets 1, gets 2. Very nice target firing. And here he's not stopping, by the way. He's still reinforcing. We're bringing more Stalkers. Storm is almost done. Here so far is trading well. Barely losing any Stalkers. Lose 1. Lose 1 Stalker. The Hydras are exposed. Expensive losses for Solar. Oh, God, good. Yeah, losing too much here. 3, 4, 5 Hydras going down. And this is even pre-Storm. Like High Templar that's just gathering energy back at home. Ready for the second wave. And I'll say that here he could just warp in and push and try to kill, but he's going for a Fleet Beacon. Fleet Beacon's on the way. Nice condemnation. But here he's taking up. He's playing it safe. So we'll just chase down some of those Hydras. High Templar coming in. Remember, there's 4 High Templar. Is it 1 where one's 5? And Solo, he commits. Yeah, he's committing across the map. Behind this, there's no infestation pit. There's no pits. There's no lurker den. There's no hive. So he's cutting workers at 78. That is just under 4 base saturation. And he's committing with purely Ling Bane Hydra. So just pure Ling Bane Hydra here. The goal for Solar is to end the game. And here is out of position. He's not back at home to defend. He has a couple of units here. He does spot the army. There's the first storm. Here he's racing over. The Matrix! The High Templar! Oh no! He's not paying attention. Massive connections! 4 High Templar go down. Ay, ay, ay. He had so many storms there. 4 High Templar full, and that might just be game, by the way. That might just be game. Without storms, Mass Hydra can break through. There should have been like 4, 5, 6 storms here available. Instead, there's 1. Yeah, 1 storm pops off, and Solar, he's done it. Gets up with the High Templar. 2 more Templar warping in. And again, here his attention just pulled apart. Losing those 4 Templar, that's game. I mean, it's game then and there. As Solar, he's going in for the kill. Yeah, just has a massive concave here on the base. Mothership has arrived, true. But there's Novus here. There's Novus here in position. Novus here gets sniped. Here he's barely hanging on. And again, here he played this out well. We saw him doing so much with the Adepts, with the Oracles, with the Stalker aggression as well. It was solid out of herO until the very end. I mean, that's StarCraft. 1 misstep, 1 mistake, that can cost you the game. That can cost you the series. As the Ling Hydra outscales, pushing towards the natural. We got a Tempest on the way. Go be him. And against Solar, he has done it. Just waiting for more Ling Hydra. And he breaks through. Breaks through, takes on the Cybercore. No more Stalkers. As herO making his final stand. And again, this is a smudge game for herO. As the early game went his way, the mid game as well. And then the all-in hit back. GG gets called, and Solar, he will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the grand finals. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Congratulations here to Solar, does advance on. Again, herO, he had a very nice start here in game number 2, building up and getting into his own Stalker aggression, his own Adept aggression, the Oracles as well, dealing a lot of damage, delaying the economy, trading well against the Hydras, and building up into Storm, building up into Charge. And then Solar, he went for the all-in. He went for the all-in. As we mentioned, he was not taking up purely Ling Bane Hydra. He was not going towards Lurkers or droning up his 4th base or getting into Hive Tech. His goal was to end the game. The map does favor that, true. We spoke previously about how Ruby Rock does favor aggression. The bases are very open. They're more accessible here to an aggressive army. And of course, we saw herO losing 4 almost full energy High Templar. Again, there was so many storms in that army, and if he had made it back home with those High Templar, he defends. Like, he most likely defends there on his 3 bases, and we see a different game. Could have seen a different game, but GG well played. With that, Solar does claim the series. Now we're getting ready for the grand finals. It's going to be a best of 5 between Solar and MaxPax. Let's go. Have that best of 5. And game 1 is going to be on Tokamak. Oh boy. Okay. We're loading into Tokamak again. This is the most defensive map in the map pool, and we have a good idea as to how MaxPax will approach this. How will the Zerg player approach this? Spawning in the right hand corner of Tokamak, we have the Danish Protoss. We have the Danish Protoss, the red Protoss player himself representing Sashon Gaming. It is MaxPax. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Zerg player, the South Korean Zerg representing Team Falcons. It is Solar. Here we go. Calming down, we're settling into our fresh series, fresh best of 5. Let's go. And again, this tournament is still featuring the older map pool. So we have Tokamak, which is very favorable here towards defensive and more turtle-heavy play. So the pressure is going to be on Solar here. The pressure is on Solar. How does he break MaxPax early, or does he rush into the late game and rush into early Lurkers? What's the plan? We have seen some players, I say some players, specifically Lambo. We've seen Lambo mess around a lot recently with Microbial Shroud Ultras, like going into like Ling Hydra into Ultra, into Infestor, into Ultra Infestor, and having a lot of success against Protoss. I'll be honest, he's the only player I've seen do it. Like he's, or at least attempt to do it. Like I haven't seen like Solar or Raynor or Serral or any of the other Zergs like attempt that style. Apparently Oreo, I think it was like last week, I think Oreo said that Rogue was trying it, which I'd have to take him for his word. Like I haven't seen Rogue do it himself, but maybe he did it in another tournament that we didn't cover. Is Solo one to experiment and to try to play that style? We'll see. I don't think he is one to experiment, but we'll see. Good to see some top Zergs in the weeklies. We always see top Zergs in the weeklies. They just typically go down early. I think there's like a false narrative that like Zerg players don't compete, but Raynor competes, Rogue, Solar. It's just they often go down like in the quarterfinals. But I hear Solar doing well. Doing well for himself. Solly has been on that grind. And we'll see how he compares. Does pick in. Sorting away the Overlord, even supplies blocks for a moment there. And we'll keep an eye on the Twilight Council timing. Once again, we're keeping an eye on the timing here of the Twilight Council for early Blink, early Glaives, or standard game. Eyes are on MaxPax. Ooh, and that is going to be an earlier council. Okay. That's the MaxPax. Early council out of MaxPax. Throws down 2-3 more gates. This looks like Glaive Adepts. Yeah, it looks like 4-gate Glaives. Now, if you remember, the one game that herO attempted 4-gate Glaives, it wasn't worth it. It was actually on this map, if you remember. It was game 1 versus Solar, where the Glaives failed to really get any damage done, and herO fell behind. We'll see if a MaxPax can succeed where herO failed. Oh, wait, well, okay. we gotta make up our mind. Blink is cancelled. We're not going for early Glaives, though. This was the same setup, but we're going into a very early charge. We're going for a very early charge timing. Now, this build is a little bit more, do I say rare? It's a little bit uncommon. Oh, it's uncommon. Now, the goal here, the hope, is that the Zerg player skips Roaches and skips Banelings. The problem, especially in the latest patch, is that Banelings are a lot more viable. They're a lot more accessible in ZVP. More so than last patch. So this is meant to catch a player that's rushing into Ling Hydra. And it makes sense to do it on Tokamak. It makes sense. Like, winding it back, remember, we were assuming that, hey, one of the options that Solo could go for is to rush into Lurkers. Like, if he were to drone up heavily and rush into Lurkers and try to beat MaxPax into the late game, then he could try to take it here on Tokamak. So this is a little bit more calculated here from MaxPax. He's hoping that that's what Solo's doing, that Solo is skipping Roaches and skipping Banelings. We can see that he has the Nest, and we need Banelings to defend. As we're banking up those Zealots. We're keeping them hidden. Charge is almost done. Here we go. Here comes the timing. Zealots they move out, and bam, we have 10 Banelings on the way. 10 across the map, actually. Uh-oh. Not defensively. Yeah, back at home, it's purely Ling Queen. Stalkers poke in. Charge lots are revealed. And Solar, he's out of position. Is he racing back? He's racing back home. He's racing back home. Oh no. Yeah, Banelings are being targeted. Zealots are surrounded, not bad. Yeah, Zealots are surrounded. MaxPax here overextends. Does get into the mineral line. He does get a couple of drone kills, but nothing major, and I believe Solo should hold. Yeah, Solo should hold on. Meanwhile, Banelings every round. Oh no! Yeah, there's no way out. Massive connections. 9 probe kills. Very nice. And where exactly are we? Okay, so winding it back here. Sola did lose a good amount of workers. He lost 7 drones in total against the 9 of MaxPax. Sola, he now throws down his Hydrogen. He's droning. So Sola is re-droning, resaturating. I would say that MaxPax, he needed more damage. Ideally, when you rush into charge like this, your goal is to break a base and maybe even end the game. So MaxPax is not stopping. We have Storm on the way. War Prism as well. And we'll see how strong this timing hits. As he's warping in more Zealots. Here comes the second wave. Can MaxPax still in Sola's face? Now with Archons. And Solar is morphing in a couple of Banelings. He's got 2 Banelings on the way. Let's go. Solo trying to collapse on the army. Gets us around with some of the Zealots. Not bad. And Queens are coming in as well. Solo, he's holding. Solo, he's holding on. Stasis goes off. Storm is almost done. And so far, there are 2 High Templar. They're gathering energy. And Solo he's going for the all-in. Yeah, I mean, after the chaotic start here, Solo he's kind of works at 66. You can see no drones. Like, he's not droning up his 4th base, no saturation, pure Ling and Bane Hydra. So 3 base all-in out of Solar, 4th base just for Larva. There's going to be some defensive storms. But MaxPax's army here doesn't really have much to work with. If he had Mass Blink Stalker, then sure, alongside this army. But because of the early charge, he's exposed. MaxPax is exposed. Prism zones away. Cells are dealt with. Solo he's holding. Now he can focus on this push. He can focus on his all-in. MaxPax still trying to expand. Ay, ay, ay. Now, once again, just like against herO, Solo can get on top of this High Templar, he can just end the game. He can just end the game. He wants those Templar. There's the first 2 storms. A little bit trigger happy. And MaxPax a little bit nervous. As soon as they collapse in, there's a 3rd storm. Bailey's able into the mineral line. Nice defense. So my MaxPax is holding on. Oof. This 1 Bailey connects, and there's what, 2 storms left. The expansion goes down. So far, MaxPax is holding. He's holding on. He's defending. Celeron is dealt with. Against Solo, he hasn't made a drone in like 3 minutes. He's just transferring workers as he's running out of mineral patches. Just maintaining this 3-base economy. Solo, he's almost maxed. Oh, it's for Storm. Storms are connecting. Oh, good. Yeah, brutal connections. Ling Bane just melts. Solo trying to get into the mineral line, but he's running into a wall of Immortals, a wall of Archons. And it looks like he does get the Templar. No more storms. Okay, no storms left. Hydras are trying to break through. No more Zealots. Yeah, he's done it. Yeah, he has done it. He breaks the 3rd base. Solo, he overwhelms. He snowballs out of control. He punishes the build here of MaxPax. And again, it was a calculated decision here at a MaxPax. It did make sense, but alas, did fall in its face. Solo keeps rallying, gets into the mineral line. The probes, they try to get away, and no, they cannot. Every probe goes down. 24 probe kills. And again, MaxPax, he has nothing. Like, there's nothing left here. He's got 2 Templar, 2 Immortals. He barely has an economy. Solo just has to back off and get ready for round 4. Just get ready for another Emax. Another wave of Ling Bane Hydra. Another wave. And again, like, I feel like this has been unnecessary. It's, specifically, I'm referring to herO and MaxPax. They both tried to cheese on Tokamak. It's like, Bappy, we don't need to. Like, you don't they both tried to get like cheeky early wins instead. Whereas, like, this is the map where you can just turtle up and play standard. They both went for it. In their own ways, of course. Where herO went Glaives and and MaxPax he went into charge. Bane is connecting. Against Solo, he should not be able to defend. Here comes a flank. The final High Templar goes down. And Solo, he has done. He breaks the Immortals, breaks the main army. There's nothing left. Down to 1 Archon. And Solo will start the series off with a win. With a win. Zealous being annoying, true. Zealous get across the map. Mineral line goes down. And GG gets called. Solar takes the lead in the series 1-0. GG. Whew, GG, well played. Winding it back, if you remember, what did MaxPax do? He went for early charge, went for a very early charge timing. As we mentioned, the goal there was to try to catch the Zerg player being greedy and cutting corners. Problem was that Solar, he wasn't really cutting many corners. He did skip roaches, but he did not skip banelings. So he was able to build up his banelings, defend against the early charge timing, defend well enough to hold on, and then from there he did turn that into a 3-base all-in. We saw that MaxPax was trying to defend, trying to get a 4th base up and running, getting into Archon Immortal, but the army was lacking because of the early charge timing that did not do enough damage. As we were trying to emphasize, if he had gone for a standard build against that with Mass Blink Stalker to support his army, he would have been perfectly fine, but he had no Blink Stalkers. He had mainly Zealots, which don't really trade well. They're not very efficient, as they're kind of one and done. They go in, they go down. GG, well played. And with that, we're loading into game number 2. Going to be loading into White Rabbits. Okay. Going to be loading into another one of these larger maps. I would say that this would be a decent map here for MaxPax to recover on, but let's go. Spawning in the top right hand corner of White Rabbits, we have the Danish Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Sastorm Gaming. It is MaxPax. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the blue Zerg representing Team Falcons. It is Solar. And again, MaxPax, he missed his opportunity to play standard and get in towards the mid to late game on Tokamak. Here, loading into White Rabbits, this is one of the more defensive maps in the new map pool, so this is not a bad map to try to go for a more standard style, but we'll see. Keep an eye on MaxPax, we'll see what he goes for. If things get more chaotic, I feel like that's going to be favoring Solar a little bit more. As again, we expect Solar to cut workers early, and we expect him to go for these more aggressive builds and more assertive timings, and these all-ins. Let's go. So many KSLs ended with Dark versus herO. Dark used to thrive in weeklies. I mean, Dark, he is a lot more of an aggressive and more unpredictable player. I think herO is a really good kind of a really good comparison to Dark, where Dark, he was a little more chaotic and a little more unpredictable compared to herO, compared to Raynor. It's similar to the hierarchy of Protoss, right? Where when you think of the top 3 Protoss players in the world, herO, MaxPax, and Classic, I mentioned it before, but herO, he is the most aggressive and the most unpredictable out of the 3 of them. And I would say the same about Raynor, herO, and Dark, where Dark he had the same kind of vibe to him, where he would very often go for like Link Queen Nidus all-ins, or Drop Lord all-ins, or Roach Base all-ins, and he'd mix in macro play as well, of course, but that's the thing, he'd mix it in, and it'd be very difficult to keep up with Dark. I would say that Solar has been having a little more success in recent times. That's also because Solar has been more aggressive. I would still say that he's a lot more standard compared to Dark. Even his all-ins are very standard. Like, they're very by the book. They're a lot more, yeah, kind of a lot more played out. Like, again, 3-base, like Link Queen Nidus all-in, sorry, Link Bane, Hydra all-ins, like they're very standard, and we see a lot of that nowadays. That's kind of what Solar's been embracing. Like, Solar, he's not fancy with this play going for like Nidus Worms or going for Dropper Lords and stuff like that. Still aggressive, but not as chaotic. So from here, Stargate open out of MaxPax, building up into a 3rd base. Welcome to White Rabbits. White Rabbits is a very large map in the map pool. It's a large map. It has relatively defendable 3rd and 4th bases. I would say, for example, this triangular 3rd base here, there's choke points coming into it, there's high ground that you can make use of as well. So it's a relatively secure triangular 3rd base. We'll see how MaxPax expands. We have seen players go for the center. Oh, he's doing it again. God damn it. He's doing it in Twilight Council, Gateway Explosion. This is before the third, though. This is much more aggressive. Now, I assumed it was going to be Glaives in game 1, but it was Charge. I'm assuming, again, Glaives here in game 2. We'll see if it's Charge again. But, show us what you got. Twilight Council, yep, there we go. Glaive Adepts here by MaxPax. So, once again, 2 games in a row. Early tech, early Twilight Council, early commitment here at MaxPax, not playing standard at all. Okay. Now, there's a higher chance that this will work in game 2. I mean, I say higher chance. Is Solo going to cut corners? For now, Eva Chamber plus on melee, he's playing standard. Once again, if he skips his roaches and if he skips his Bailey Nest, then this can get out of hand. Safety Roach Warren. I say safety at 440. So 440 Roach Warren timing. I believe this means that he can produce roaches as the adepts arrive, but they won't be ready immediately. So far, 3 drones. Adepts, they should be warping in back at home. Okay, here they come. You can see here they're hidden behind the mineral line. We're banking them up. Lings, they poke into scouts, and they will get eyes on the move out. Yeah, he does confirm. Does confirm. Spots all the adepts. Confirms even more on the way. Does he have a wall? He does have the setup to wall off. Roach production has begun. He's got roaches on the way. And the Glaive Adepts are coming. On the way into the natural. Here for the queen. He's gonna get one. One queen goes down, busts into the mineral line. Roaches are barely popping out in time. And with the roaches popping out, I believe Solo should hold on. Yeah, he should hold on, takes down the Oracle. Drones, they pull away just barely in time as well. Drones are not going down. He's getting into the main though. Shading into the main base, drones are finally falling. Yeah, late reaction by Solo. He did no reaction even. Uh-oh. Losing up to 6. 6 drones going down. More depths here on the right-hand side. And this is getting in a hand. 10, 11, 12, 13. No! 14 drone kills, 15 drones. MaxPax does find damage towards the end. There's still depths out on the map as well. And behind this, Blinken +1. You have the standard follow-up here. Hoping to survive the counterattack. And Solo's crippled. Solo, he has been crippled. I'll be honest, I wasn't really convinced by going into Glaives here in game 2 on White Rabbit, but hey, it paid off. Did pay off, getting up to 19 drones. And Solo's all in. Solo, he's all in. We have Overlord speed on the way. What does this mean? Drop Lords. It means Drop Lords here. So we're going for a German taxi. You can see, yep, there we go. Drop Lords are morphing as we speak. Loading in the Queens. Ling, Queen, Roach, Ravager. It's all or nothing for Solar. He has to end the game with this army or die trying. Back at home, MaxPax is getting ready. He's getting a shield battery here at the natural, shield battery at the third base, cannon as well. MaxPax, he should be fine. Like he has the tools to defend. He has the tools to defend. Comes down to the execution. Solo's moving in. So far, nice blink control. I believe 1 Stalker should go down. He gets 1, he gets maybe 2. The shield battery putting in a lot of work. There we go, 1, 2, Stalker's falling. A nice position here behind the mineral line. So far, good position here by MaxPax. Does blink away. Lings are going down. It's a lot of Lings falling. Roaches are trying to get involved. MaxPax, we're banking up 1,000 minerals. Where are the warp-ins? Jesus. Yeah, MaxPax skipping warp-ins or missing warp-ins. Banking up a little money, but GG gets called. The all-in still fails, and MaxPax, he holds. He ties up the series 1-1. GG. GG, well played. Again, Solar, he took so much critical damage here from the Glaive Adepts. They got 19 drone kills, insane damage. Initially, Solar, he was holding, he was defending, and then he refused to pull away workers from his main base, and that's when things started to get out of hand. Got out of control. GG, well played. Likewise, a bit of a more delayed scout and delayed reaction out of Solar. And now we have a series. We have that back and forth. Let's go. Now, based on how MaxPax has been playing this series so far, we might not get a macro game at all. I'll be honest. Like, if we decide to be hyper aggressive on White Rabbits and on Tokamak, then I feel like the aggression is just going to continue here. Okay, let's go. As spawning in the top left hand corner of Pylon, we have the Red Protoss. We have the Red Protoss player representing Sidestorm Gaming. It is MaxPax. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have the South Green Zerg player. We have the Blue Zerg. Hello. Going pool first. Okay. It is Solar. Going for a 14 pool timing. So it's going to be pool into hatchery, very early spawning pool. Now the goal here is, if MaxPax doesn't realize what's going on, this early link production could actually kill the Pylon. Could get the Pylon. As the drone is being active, probe moves in, confirms the early spawning pool. He knows. He does know, he is aware. Solar, he's actually not... Yeah, he wasn't actually backing up his larva. We do have 4 lings on the way. And MaxPax to the 2 get response. A should be fine. I mean, again, if MaxPax didn't scout the main base, then he would be in trouble. But here, I would say that MaxPax, I mean, at least is being forced to react, right? Typically, there'd already be base on the way. It'd be gate expand. But because MaxPax scouted the early spawning pool, he's forced to throw down a Cybercore and a second gateway, and he's forced to go into a delayed natural base. So Solar, he has dealt some inadvertent damage, as there's still no expansion. Oh, yeah. Still no Nexus. Lings poke in, they shouldn't really get much damage done here. But again, they've heavily delayed the expansion. As we're even going at double adept before the Nexus as well. So this is putting a lot of pressure here on MaxPax to get some counter damage. And he has potential. Now, there's a bit of a give and take here. On the one hand, MaxPax, his economy is heavily delayed. That is true. On the other hand, late gas, no link speed, which means that these adepts, this counterattack can actually get out of hand. Comes down to link positioning and the queen positioning. We have 1 Zealot, we have 2 adepts. This will be forcing out links from Solar. He's got 1 queen so far, soon to be 2. Side on the tumor, going for the queen, no transfuse. Oh, gets 1, gets 2. Picks off 2 workers. The queen is getting very low. Picking over a 3rd drone goes down. Zealot gets surrounded. Adepts a shade into the bases. Oh, the queen is tempting. It's tempting, Pat. And nice movement, nice positioning. Boys are being pulled. That's going to be 5 dead workers. And we're not done. We're rallying. We're rallying adepts across the map. More adepts are on the way. Aggression continues. And you can see how difficult it is for Soul to keep up because of the opener. Because of how late link speed is. And of course because of the low queen count. Right? There's only 2 queens. Only 2 queens. MaxPax pulls away. We have a Twilight Council and a River follow-up. 2 base all in. So 2 base all in at a MaxPax. He is initially deflected. Didn't kill the queen in the end. I feel like killing the queen would have been huge. And we're going to Glaives. I assumed it was going to be like a Charge Immortal all in, or like a Soul Train-esque all in, but now it's going to be Mass Adepts. Just warping in Mass Adepts, and again, this is going to be a difficult defense here for Solar, if not borderline impossible. Why is that? Well, I mean, he doesn't have the economy for roaches. Like, you can't make roaches, not like this, or banelings either. So it's going to be a Link Queen defense. Okay, Baneliness is on the way. Now, the one chance here for Solar is if these banelings connect, right? He needs them to connect here. He's a bait in the shade. And can land some miracle connections, otherwise that will be game. Solar spots the adepts, he knows. He knows what's coming. Massing up more Lings. He needs those Banelings as soon as possible. Here we go, we have 4. Okay, 4, 5. 5 Banelings are morphing in. As many Solar can afford. But we're getting into all the Banelings. Oh, coming into the shade. Gets up the ramp. Nice hold position here on the ramp as well. Banelings are waddling in. And MaxPax does free split. Lings, they get us around. They surround most of the depths. We have another warp in, but so far Solar, he's holding. Okay, he's holding on. He's defending. MaxPax, he's running out of steam. Doesn't get into the mineral lines. And Solar, he's running. Wow, he's running up. The longer this goes on, the better it is for Solar. MaxPax, he needs more. He needs more damage. He's got 5 more Banelings on the way. Ooh, does find the 3rd. Uh-oh. Drones are exposed. Doesn't get too many. 2 drones going down, more depth warping in, more depths warping in. Pulling in more depths. Lings are keeping up with the shade. So we should have a transfuse here. No fights. Yeah, no transfuse yet. Another warp in. Are we hitting critical massive depths here? Do we have enough Banelings? There are. Yeah, they force the split. Lings, they surround. The Prism's under fire. And Solar, he will hold. Banelings crash in. Oh, I spoke too soon. The Queens are on their own. Okay. This is slowly working. It's taking a while here. Breaks to the Ling Bane, takes out another Queen. Can he get the final Queen? 1 Queen left back. Oh, he gets in. The drones, they come back too soon. The drones come back too soon, but we shade into the natural. Our roaches are amassing. And with enough roaches, MaxPax, he cannot break through. And Solar, he's almost there. He's almost there. Casito. Oof. Instead of say shade into the main base. No, the drones, they fight. 8, 9, 10. 10 drones going down. It ups back in towards the 3rd. Shading into the natural. This is getting out of hands. Oh, no. Solar, he was holding his own. Like, I was very impressed. Solar, he was defending. He was surviving. And now he's forced into an all-in. Solar, he's down to 38 workers. He lost 13 drones. MaxPax is on 3 base saturation. Immortal production has begun. Now, what I will say is that thankfully, we are on Pylon. What is Pylon? Pylon is the smallest map in this tournament map pool. So all-ins are favored. All-ins, they hit harder, they hit faster. And Solar, as you can see, he's not droning. He's lost a lot of workers, and he is not droning up his 3rd base at all. It's not worth it. It's not worth droning up at this point. He's forced into an all-in. So Solar, he has to all-in. It's the only way to win this game. And back at home, MaxPax, there's 1 shield battery. He's got a couple of force fields. MaxPax needs time. So far, nice juggling. Nice juggling with the Immortal. Again, delaying the push. But alas, is going to be enough here. Force field zone away. Miles, they knock him down. And depths are falling as well. Again, it's only 2 Immortals. And Solar, does he barely have enough? Oh, oof. As Miles, they graze the Pylon. Immortals being forced to kite back. Pylon goes down. Everything gets depowered. Yeah, it's just 2 Immortals. It's only 2 Immortals here, which means the space should fall. And on the one hand, MaxPax, yes, he was able to do a lot of economic damage, but he cannot stop the counterattack. He cannot stop the all-in. Solar, he breaks on through. Thinking there just wasn't enough back at home. And the space will go down. Okay, the 3rd base will fall. MaxPax, it looks like he might be able to hold on to his natural at least, but Solar's now droning up. Now he's finally started to drone. He's starting to saturate. He has crippled MaxPax. And again, MaxPax is controlling his immortals well. Like, that is true. So migrating his heart out with 2 immortals, there's only so much 2 immortals can do. Only so much. As we're building up towards the Soul Train, we have our Immortal Archon Chargelots. Got a couple of sentries, a couple of force fields. And what's important is the Solar. What did he join up to? He joined up to 51. That is still under 3 by saturation. So he joined up slightly. And now he's back onto pure Ling Bane Road Ravager. Or Ling Road Ravager. And the goal should be for Solar to get a 4th base just for Larva, and then just push again. And go for a 2nd wave. Go for a massive 2nd wave. Should be the plan. There's the 4th base. Again, Solar, he's fixated on purely army production. Again, you may be looking at the overall supplies here and be like, oh, MaxPax is up in work, he's up in probes. Like, that's good, right? It's, I mean, kind of. The problem is that, again, Solar, he's not interested in droning. He's not interested in macroing. Not interested. It's all about this. So here comes round 2. Oh. Here comes the 2nd round, the 2nd wave. Back at home, what do you have to defend? So there's going to be 3 immortals. Storm is going to be done in time. Okay, okay. So Storm is going to be done. Storm will help. Here we go. Main army towards the 3rd. Banelings that have been spotted. Waste of Banelings. Get shut down by a handful of Zealots. Meanwhile, Storm with a ramp. Not quite. We're stacking Storms. And there's not many left. Remember, there's only 3 High Templar. There's only 1 Storm remaining. Soon to be 2. So 2 Storms. Solar, he second guesses himself. We have drones on the way. Solar, he saw the Storm, he saw the Immortals, he's like, oh, I'm not too confident. Solar, he starts droning. It's a little bit concerning, as these are late drones for Solar. Like, Bappy, we gotta commit, we gotta double down. We gotta be confident, Bappy. Oh, speaking of, Banelings, they get into the middle line, 14 probes go down. Okay, now we can drone. Now we can drone up, 19 probes falling, aye, aye, aye. I mean, now would be the time to drone, but Solar actually just focusing on purely army production once again. 20 more links in production. And Solar, he's almost maxed out. It's almost maxed out. That's a very hefty army here. How many immortals? 10. 10 immortals, 5 archons. Like, this is a death blow of an army. Jesus. Banelings get into the middle line. Zealots get into the main. Solar, he needs to try to engage ahead of time. He needs to try to force out these storms. Zealots are being so annoying. We have Zealots here hitting the 4th. Distraction in the 4th, they're distracting the main, more Zealots are warping in. Like, again, this is a terrifying death blow. Sorry, MaxPax, he can win the game here. He can win the game with his army. Lands a Storm. Oh god, we stand in it as well. Yeah, the Storms are brutal. And Solar, he will lose everything. He will lose everything. GG gets caught, he gets Stormed. The Immortals, they hold their own, and MaxPax with the counterattack, with the comeback even. GG takes the lead in the series 2-1. GG. Very impressive there from MaxPax. Despite the difficult follow-up here after losing his 3rd base after being knocked down to 2 expansions. We did mention though that Solar, it did look like he was definitely wavering in his confidence of his all-in, where he pushed in, he saw the storms, he backed off and he droned. The problem with doing that is that ideally, even if you can't break the defending Protoss player there, you want to force out those storms so they don't have them for the counterattack, right? Like, you want to be forcing out those storms, you want to be trading, you need to be active and aggressive. I mean, hey, right after that, he got into the middle line and killed all those probes. You need to be in the face of the Protoss, but alas, he was second-guessing himself. It looked to be the case there, where Solar, he was really not really too confident in actually being aggressive and pushing in. So he gave MaxPax a lot more time to build up that core, to build up those Immortals, and build up those High Templar. GG. GG, well played. And with that, we're now getting into Ruby Rock. Now we have MaxPax taking a lead in the series, and one game away from claiming the series as well. Let's go. Let us go. Just catching up in the chat. Very build-oriented, Dark is more intuitive. I would agree with that. I think I would agree. That was in the, regarding the... Oh. Jesus. That was regarding the previous discussion. But here we go, spawning in the top left-hand corner. Top left-hand corner here of Ruby Rock. We have the Danish Protoss player. We have the Danish Protoss. We have the red Protoss leading the series 2-1. It is MaxPax. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have the South Korean Zerg player. We have the blue Zerg representing Team Falcons. It is Solar. Here we go. Just catching up. Here we go. Storms are all I hear anymore. I mean, there was some juicy connections there towards the end, but as we mentioned before, like, a lot of that was also on Solar. Like, he gave MaxPax a lot of breathing room, he gave him a lot of time after breaking the third base, which allowed MaxPax to recover. I don't want to take too much away from MaxPax, though. I mean, to be fair, like, it was him that was able to retain those Immortals from the early game and build up that Immortal count and build up those storms. Here we go. As we are building up, getting to a more relatively standard opener here by Solar. Again, this series so far has been very chaotic. It's been very chaotic. It's been very aggressive, very intense. We haven't seen any standard games yet, and we're loading into Ruby Rock. Ruby Rock is a more aggressive map of the map pool, much more aggressive. We speak about this all the time. Has an open third base, has an open fourth base as well. We expect to see Solo going for an all-in here. We expect a 3-base all-in. But MaxPax has been very unorthodox this series, right? We've seen Glaive Depths, we've seen early charge, we've seen more Glaives. So MaxPax has not been playing standard. And I wouldn't be opposed to something more aggressive here as well. Say early Blink. We'll keep an eye on him. Go. Oh no. We have some replays redeemed in the chat, Pap. Yeah. If you want us to cast your replays, then you can send the replays over to our Gmail. We have a Gmail account, cranklings@gmail.com, or you can send them on Discord. Join our Discord server, send them there. So Discord or email. Gibbs the replays. So now the Oracles are moving out. MaxPax taking his third base. No shot this is the first game that we're going to see MaxPax just go for a standard opener. We'll see. Somatic fix in. Major so far. His third base is getting up. He's building up his third base. Early Eva Chamber out of Solo, once again going into +1 melee. So far, Solo playing standard. And there it is. Twilight Council's on the way. Gateway Explosion. So earlier Council. We'll see if he goes for a later Forge. Or no Forge entirely. So we're leaning towards either early Blink or Glaives. As the Oracle gets into the third base, drones going down, getting 2 drones so far. Lings, they will hit the third. The Oracle's out of position. We'll get this around. Gets 1, it gets 2 Adepts. More drones going to be falling. Okay, chaos everywhere. 7 drones go down. 8 drones. 8 drone kills, no Forge. Show us the Glaives. What's it going to be? Twilight Council's finishing. MaxPax's macro is slipping. Going into Blink. But delayed Blink here. MaxPax was banking minerals, banking gas as well. So shaky setup here. Yeah, late Blink, late Forge. The timing is going to be off. And we have a back and forth. I mean, in the end, did kill a lot of drones, true. So Solo lost a lot of workers. But he did force some inefficiencies out of MaxPax. And this is meant to be an early Blink timing to break the 4th base. If you remember, MaxPax went for this build against YoungYakov on this very map. On this map. Did do it against Yakov. The goal is to break the 4th base. We'll see if he can. So far, trading well against the Lings. Trades well. Stalkers, they move out across the map. And it's going to be a tough hold here. Things are amassing. Does notice the stasis. Nice, very nice bait. Baits out the stasis trap. MaxPax has to pull away. And remember, Blink is delayed. It is later than what it should be. So Solar, he's holding. Wow, he holds onto the 4th base. Better positioning for Solar. This build from MaxPax has not been worth it. Trying to rotate back over, but again, there's plenty here to work with. Does Solo notice? Oh, stasis goes off. Nice connection, but he just fully wall off the ramp. So he fully walls off. Still helps in the defense. In the midst of all this, Solo, he's droning, he's saturating. Banelings are walling into the mineral line. At MaxPax, he does react. Thankfully, he does pull away in time. So far, he pulls away. And Solo, it looks like he is not going to be taking up, as we assumed, right? He's going for his 4th base, now his 5th. Valava joining up to 78, massing up with Linkbane Hydra. And we'll see if he can break MaxPax. As MaxPax, he does have Storm. Storm is done. Storm is ready. So far, we have a wall of cannons and shield batteries on the way at both bases. As we mentioned before, the entrance here into the 3rd and 4th base is very wide, so that's going to favor the aggressing player. And Solo, he's almost maxed. It's almost maxed out. It's going to be go time. He does spot the wall. His own Bailey run by as well. And the longer this goes on, the better it's going to be for MaxPax. So again, right now, like Solo, he's almost maxed out at 200 supply. And he's all in. Solo, he's all in. There's no further tech, no hive, no lurkers. This is meant to end the game. Banelings, they do roll into the mineral line. No major connections. Sky Toss is on the way. As you mentioned, like, Solo's on a timer. If this takes too long, then we're gonna get more Tempest, more carriers, Mothership. Let's go. And the army has been spotted. Solo once again splitting up. Splits up his forces. Baits out the stasis traps. There aren't many High Templar here on the top side. Yeah, MaxPax's army isn't split well. He's got too many High Templar here towards the south, but there's barely any army. MaxPax out of position. Catching up 4 High Templar. 6 High... Oh, good. 6 Templar go down. Bailey's there making their way into the mineral line. And there's the first storm. Storms, they do somewhat connect. Solo moving in. Stasis goes off, and MaxPax he's holding. Yeah, so far he's holding on. Has plenty more storms. But he does lose his like defense. No more cannons. And here comes the second wave. And here comes the second wave for Solar. Going for the expansion. Takes down the Nexus. From here he kites back. Gearing up on the left-hand side as well. And initially MaxPax held, but he will lose the third and the fourth expansion. Oh, go for the Templar. Nice snipe. And again, this is the map working against MaxPax. Like we did mention that it's just very open here at the third and open at the fourth base as well. It's difficult to turtle up like this. And Solar just keeps going. Just keeps on going. So he's Max coming in from behind, going for the Templar, forcing out storms. Yeah, we get some decent baiting connections. Yeah, High Templar, they go down. 0 Templar left, 0 storms, the base falls. And Solo, he's forcing the ace match. He's forcing game 5. Breaks through the Stalkers. Getting on top of the Immortal. And there's just nothing left here for MaxPax. GG gets called. Solo ties with the Series Suitor 2. We're going to the ace match. GG. We're going to game 5, and again, this is more of what we expected out of Solar here on Ruby Rock. Unfortunately, it was a very shaky build out of MaxPax, so he was playing from behind, winding it back. If you remember, MaxPax, he was meant to be going for an early blink timing to break the 4th base, but because of the aggression that was happening, because of the Adept Harass and the Ling run bys, we saw that MaxPax was very late with his own blink timing. He was banking up, it was like 700 minerals, 300 gas. Like, he had a lot of resources banked up, where he delayed his Forge, he delayed his blink, he delayed everything. And remember, it was meant to be a crisp timing, and he missed it, right? He missed that timing. That's why when he moved out, Solar, he was more than ready. The hatchery was already done. Plenty of Ling Queen to defend. GG. GG, well played. So from there, we saw that MaxPax fell behind, and now we're getting into the ace match. We're going all the way here to the final game. Let's go. Going to game 5. Wave survival for MaxPax. For sure, that's what it turned into. But again, MaxPax, he messed up his build early on, he missed his timing, he fell behind, and Solo had full map control from there. And here we go, we're getting into the ace match, getting into game 5, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of 10,000 feet. We have the Danish Protoss player, we have the red Protoss representing Sidestorm Gaming, it is MaxPax. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent, we have the blue Zerg player representing Team Falcons, it is Solar. Here we go. And I'm very excited about 10,000 feet. I feel like this map has yet to disappoint. We've seen a lot of very fun games on 10,000 feet, a lot of TVZs, a lot of ZVPs as well. We typically see more aggressive games here coming in towards the mid-game. And so now, we are expanding, we're setting up. When it comes to the features of the map, the rush distance by ground is a little bit shorter. It's relatively short, so you can be much more aggressive here. When it comes to how you expand, I will say that the initial 4-base setup is relatively secure. Depending on where you expand, I should say. If you go for the triangular third base, then you do spread yourself a little bit more thin. Otherwise, you can actually take this linear third and the center expansion, and you can set up here on 4 bases. Taking the center base looks a little bit more vulnerable at times, but for the most part, because these bases are so close together, you can very easily situate your army here and defend both. You can defend both expansions with minimal rotations and keep this mineral patch up. Keep it up and expand forward. When it comes to harassing this base, tanks can abuse this expansion, ranged lurkers and broodlords can later on in the game, but for the most part, the Protoss player should be safe to take the center base. But we'll see how MaxPax approaches this. I think the most surprising thing for me is just how MaxPax has been playing this series. I would have favored MaxPax in some more standard macro games, especially on Tokamak, but he's the one that's chosen to go for early charge or to go for Glaive Adepts as well. Like, he has not been playing standard. Ay, ay, ay. So a little bit surprised with how MaxPax decided to play this series. But here we go. Opening up Stargate. So far, so good. You know, in the ace match, do we finally calm down and go Stargate into a third base into +1 and blink? Like, do we finally go for a standard opener? Maybe. This might be it. So now the oracles are on the way. Poking in. We see Solar taking the linear third base. As we mentioned, we do have these patches that can be opened up to expand at the triangular third. But we have often seen players take it later in the game and save it and hold onto it for like a 4th or a 5th base. Or even a 6th. Yeah, we're not playing standard. Okay. This looks like the European opener. This looks like Robo into Twilight Council, into Temple Archives, into Delayed Archon drop. Okay. Assuming we get a Temple Archives from here. This is a build that was very popular at the start of the year. Yep, there it is. So, Robo, Twilight Council into Temple Archives, High Templar are going to be warping into a Delayed Archon drop. This is a build that was very popular at the start of the year. If you remember, specifically the Polish Protoss players, Mana was very fond of it. Mana, he loved this build. Cristiano was very fond of it as well. Because Mana and Cristiano were doing it all the time, then we saw Geralt attempt it and play with it a little bit. Players like Bappy as well, Ziomek, Skillis, Nikita, MaxPax. This is a build that did permeate throughout the European scene. This did not catch on with the Koreans. So players like Zhao and Trap at the beginning of the year, herO, Classic, they didn't touch this. They didn't really touch this. There are some pros, there are some cons to it. This does allow you to harass and be active with the Prism or with the Archons, that is true. But it's not as aggressive and it doesn't give you as much as potentially early Blink can. So it's less aggressive, is maybe the better way of putting it. But we have seen this build come back. So again, this was really popular at the start of the year, and then it died off like maybe the month before EWC. Like around like the lead up into EWC, this build kind of fell off. And in recent weeks, it's returned. And we actually have seen herO do this. herO, he did this like last week, I want to say. Like around last week. I want to say herO did this against Reina, right? During Little League Cup. Here comes the Archon drop. The downside, of course, is that Max, like this is like relatively greedy tech-wise. You can see here a second Robo's on the way for double Immortal production. And with the early Infestation Pit, are we going into Swarm Hosts? Swarm Hosts are a very common response to this. So Swarm Hosts are on the table. Prison pulls away. If we confirm Swarm Host, we'll get into why. But for now, Archons are hunting down Overlords. They're just being annoying. Again, the bases themselves aren't really under threat. And we're waiting for those Swarm Hosts. Show us what you got. Getting extra Overlords. Getting secure back at home. There's an Itis. And we're waiting for the wave. And there it is. 8 Swarm Hosts are on the way. So the reason why Swarm Hosts are a very common response to Archon drops, I should say they are a very common response. There are 2 common responses, either Swarm Hosts or Mutas. And both of them have the same rationale, no blink. There's no blink stalkers. So going to mutas, because there's no blink, because there's limited anti-air, mutas can actually wreak havoc and just pop off and just kill everything or kill all the mineral lines. Swarm hosts are very similar, where how do you deal with Nidus Swarm hosts? Blink stalkers do a great job at rotating between the bases and hunting down Nidus swarms. Here, with a much less mobile army, this is where the Nidus swarms are safer, right? The Nidus swarms are safer, and the Locust waves, they have a lot more potential as a result. So it's just like a very common response, very common reaction. MaxPax should be in the back of his mind. MaxPax hasn't confirmed, but there's an Itis. And you can see MaxPax making Blind Phoenix. I mean, again, Mutas was also an option, right? This is also an option. Local save into the main. We'll see what we can get done. Another Nidus on the right-hand side. And again, this is the biggest weakness here of going for the Archon opener is your lack of map control. Just lack of map control. You're stuck at home, High Templar goes down. Ooh, bit of miscontrol here as the Swarm Host gets thrown away. What was the Swarm Host? And you can see Solar, he's switching into Hydra Lurker. So it's all about these Swarm Hosts, maintaining the Swarm Host, gaining value, containing the Protoss player, and then taking up into Lurkers in time for the counterattack. Very similar to the game on Pylon, MaxPax is going to be stuck on 3 bases. MaxPax, he should not be able to expand, and he should be building up a death pool of an Immortal High Templar Storm Archon army. And we saw that on Pylon, he just ended the game, right? He just A moved across the map and ended the game on Pylon. But this time, the hope is that Solar has Lurkers ready. And speaking of Lurkers, there it is, Hive and Lurker Den. Ooh, and this time he gets into the mineral line, 10 probes. 10 probes going down. The Swarm Host, they're gaining value. You can see the MaxPax is trying to hunt down the Swarm Host. So he moves in. Solar, he's maxed. And Solar, he should be trading out some of these roaches to eventually morph in the Lurkers. So he has to trade. He needs to fight here. And his goal is not to kill. Like, he's not meant to kill the base. He's not meant to break MaxPax. Just trade out units. Storm connects. Locust Wave is making its way into the mineral line. Gets an Archon. You can see how many Immortals there are. Jesus. So many Immortals. Gets another 2 Archons. 3 in total. 3 Archons go down. You can see the Lurker upgrades on the way. Here come the Hydras. Here comes the Remax with Lurker Tech. And there is a window in time here where Solar could die pre-Lurker, but you can see that window's closing. Like, we're slowly making those Lurkers, and if they're able to finish up in time, like, Solar should be fine. Should be fine here. Roaches, they do start to step in. Catching at the Zealots. Roaches are being thrown away, that's fine. You can see Solar, he's refining his army. So far, 9 Lurkers, soon to be 11. Other Locust Wave gets another Archon. Going for the Immortal. Oh, can he get it? What a mass! Oh my god, barely not. The Immortal survives. And again, Solar is still very much so in control. the soup does lie. You can see the MaxPax is building up a comparable army size, but again, it's very much so a fixated ground-based army. Oh, this one needs to be careful. Oh no, he doesn't get away. Yeah, unfortunately here, some miscontrol by Solar. It gets caught out. This is MaxPax's moment. Okay, what do we have? We have 11 Immortals, 4 Archons, and 5 High Templar. And he's pushing into upper ramp into Lurkers. Yeah, Lurker shots go. Oh no, the High Templar! Oh, he gets 2. Yeah, 2 Templar go down, breaks his shields, gets an Immortal, and you can see just so much damage being dealt here. And again, MaxPax, he has no setup for Skytals. Oh, this is late. Very late here. Second Stargate, now he goes to the Fleet Beacon. This is so heavily delayed. The game may not last that long to switch into Skytals. He's stuck on the ground. Pulls away from the storms. Lurker waves continue. Meanwhile, massive warp in into the main, okay? Does go for the warp in. Damage is being done. These Zelts are getting out of hand. And Solo, he's late to react. He's late to rotate. Does rotate in time to defend. Oof. Catching at Archons. Zelts, they do get some decent damage in the main base, but likewise going to be cleaned up as well. And MaxPax has to get out of here. He's throwing away too much. Oh no! Oh my god, losing every single High Templar. Yeah, every Templar goes down. 0 storms. Locust wave into the mineral line. More probes going down. And again, this is why like these Archon builds, like they fell out of favor at the start of the year. Ah, god. Players, they already have a lot of experience against this. That's why we mentioned again, either going to Spire and Mutas or going to Swarm Host, so just counter reactions, counter responses. Solo, he played this out well. Pushing into the center base. And he takes down the expansion. Yeah, Nexus does fall. And sure, we have a couple of Tempests here, but it's only 2 Tempests. It should not be enough. Solo wedging himself into the natural. In between the natural and third. More reinforcements on the way. And we do see the Solo. He doesn't have a Spire, but he should be fine. Should be fine with Hydras. Should be fine. And he gets into the mineral line. A couple of Lurkers are getting picked up. The Immortals, they hold their own. They're trading. They trade. These Hydras are going to be cleaned up. At the same time, we have another Lurker push on the right-hand side. Cells are getting some counter damage, but for the most part, the bases are falling. Yeah, again, MaxPax, you just cannot expand. I will say that the drone count is actually quite low for Solar. So the droning is lackluster for the Zerg. That is slowing Solar down. Using more Lurkers. The Locust Wave will kill the natural mineral line or the natural nexus. You can go for both, true. Again, well as us. Now, how many Tempests do we have? We're getting up to 5. Now, I mentioned earlier that, like, oh, the Tempest count is okay. Like, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Now it's something to worry about. Build up to 5 Tempests. Swarm Host, they left idle. No, get out of here. The Swarm Host. Yeah, Solo now he notices. Trying to scuttle away. So Solo is slipping up a little bit here. He's building up his Hydra Lurker Viper. Let's see for the abductions. He gets 1, he gets 2, 3. Oh my god. He's gonna get all 4. Almost all 5. And yeah, the Tempest count is nothing to worry about. GG gets called, and Solar, he will take the series 3-2, taking down MaxPax and becoming the champion for WardiTV Monday number 59. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations here to Solar as it does claim the series. And again, I was really surprised by MaxPax. Fun fact: in all 5 games, he never played standard. Like he never went for a standard build, never went for a standard game. Was always early tech, early either glaives, early charge, early blink. Here going for an Archon drop opener, a delayed Archon drop opener as well. Going Stargate, Robo, Twilight Council into Temple Archives. So we had some really diverse play here by MaxPax. Never played standard, and Solar, he just committed to aggression time and time again. Again, here the final game was more one-sided, just because this build is very played out. It's very played out. We have seen some success before. I did mention that we just saw, it was last week, where herO did beat Raynor with this, right? He did beat him by going into this delayed Archon drop. It can be difficult if you don't have as much experience with it, but as we mentioned, like, we played this out so much at the start of the year, and Solar, he was so confident in his response and his reaction to go into the Swarm host and to go for the Lurker follow-up as well. I think that's the most important part. We have seen some Zerg players go Swarm host and then they get stuck on Ling Bane Roach Ravager. It is crucial here that Solar, he went Swarm host and then very quickly got ready for the Lurkers, right? He very quickly got ready for that ground follow-up, and MaxPax didn't see it coming. That's why his Stargate was so late and his Fleet Beacon was so delayed, because he wasn't really expecting, what I'm getting at is that MaxPax wasn't expecting a wall of Lurkers, so that caught him off guard. So MaxPax, he was caught with his pants down, wasn't expecting it, and that's also why this game was so more heavily in favor of Solar and so much more comfortable for Solar, because MaxPax, he just was unaware. GG. GG, well played. Here we go. Congratulations to Solar. And again, interesting style here from MaxPax. He's catching up. Max is saying 1/1 on Protoss, 1 Robo, 1 Starper, 1 Twilight Council. It's Stargate into Robo, Twilight Council, Temple Archives. You're missing a 1 there. You're missing extra 1s. But it's at least we call it here like a delayed Archon drop. It's delayed because it's later than like a DT opener. Like DT openers get into Archon drops faster. This is later because it relies on High Templar, not Dark Templar. GG. Tired of Zerg dominating the weeklies. Oh, don't get baited in the chat. Don't get baited. This is like the 2nd win of the year. Don't get baited. Yes, GG. GG, well played. Congratulations to Solar. And we did actually have some replays redeemed in the chats. Hold on. Let's have a look here. I think we got 3 replays that redeemed. So if you're in the chat, like Peon, for example, yo, where are the replays? Where are the replays? I'm checking. I don't have an email. I don't have anything on Discord. If you want us to cast your replays, reach out. Whether it's on Gmail, whether it's on Discord. Gibbs, Pappy Gibbs. I was just wasting points. Okay, I assume so. Ah, no. Terran wins including Clem is actually similarly low level as Zerg. I don't know if that's true. I mean, the verbiage there is important. You said similarly. I think it's still in favor of Terran. Like we've seen Cure and Bjorn, for example, pop off. So you can probably say similarly without Clem. But regardless, GG. GG, well played. And with that, we are going to be wrapping up. Here with our morning broadcast. When it comes to the rest of our schedule, here we go. We do have quite a week ahead of us here. So as you can see, we have 3 WardiTV Mondays this week. The reason for this, if you remember, is that last week Wardy, he was on the Twitch front page. He was on the front page of Twitch. So because he had front page time, he did decide to host 2 weeklies back to back. So he went for WardiTV Monday 59 and 60 last week, back to back Open Cups. Because of that, we have extra replays for the extra weeklies that were taking place. So tomorrow at this time we should be live with WardiTV Monday number 60. It took place back to back. So just as a heads up, that's why we have 3 WardiTV Mondays this week, just because we're catching up with last week's WardiTV Mondays. Just because he double dipped for the Twitch front page. Likewise, we have Pickassar Cup on Wednesday. That's going to be a live broadcast of Pickassar Cup. We have the Pondcast. Usually we have the Pondcast on Thursdays, but because of the RSL playoffs, we are going to be having the Pondcast on Wednesday, and we'll be having a live cast of RSL. So that's going to be the Rival StarCraft League Season 3 playoffs, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Oh boy, sorry, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 4 days straight of RSL. We do have permission to co-stream, so it's going to be a little bit different. Think of it almost like a viewer party. We did the same thing for season 2, and I think we did the same thing for season 1 as well. There's a couple of casts out there where we were given permission to co-stream, like Esports World Cup and like this tournament as well. So that means that you're still going to be hearing audio from like the main stream alongside our audio as well, just as a heads up. So that is going to be our coverage of RSL this week. Again, that's going to be taking up most of our attention. Of course, we have WardiTV Mondays on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday to catch up on the games and on the replays that we missed out last week and this week as well. And because of RSL taking place throughout 4 consecutive days, that's also why we have no Tuna Cup. So no Tuna Cup this week, just because it's clashing with RSL, and RSL is a pretty big event. We don't really want to clash with something like that. Don't want to clash. RSL does take priority. Meanwhile, next week we're going to be live with Kung Fu Cup. Kung Fu Cup's going to be next week. We have TTT as well, and of course we have the Sparkling Tuna Cup monthly finals on the 30th of November. Just as a heads up, we have those monthly finals, and I think we're going to have some earlier seeding matches next week as well on the 25th. Oh boy. So again, a pretty intense month of StarCraft. Also a bit of a PSA. If you remember, initially there were going to be some show matches for the Chinese server. If you remember, the Chinese server returning, they were hosting show matches with Scarlet, with Oliveira, and they were going to have a big like fun event. I believe that has been postponed. I think maybe the server was postponed as well, but that was postponed until next year. So that was going to be at the end of November. No longer is that going to be the case. Just as a PSA, bit of a heads up. Bit of a heads up. Here we go. But yeah, with that, GG will play. Thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. And again, this is our weekly schedule here. We should be live tomorrow in 24 hours time with some more WardiTV Monday. Otherwise, hope you all enjoyed yourselves. Hope you'll have a great rest of your week, of course. And also, if you want to support us, you can do so via Patreon, !Patreon in the chat. You can support us there. Our Patreon does fund our tournaments. It funds the Tuna Cup, funds Tuna Cups, it funds Ducklings Open and Master Swan Open as well. As I mentioned, the Tuna Cup monthly finals is going to be on the 30th of November. We're building up towards that at the end of the month, and this week there's no Tuna Cup because of RSL, because of the Revival StarCraft League. And again, we're going to be having some Tuna Cup seeding matches on the 25th instead. We'll get there. Otherwise, thanks for watching. If you want to support us, otherwise you can follow us on YouTube, !Socials in the chat. We do upload to YouTube on a daily basis. Every single day we have content on YouTube, plenty of content, plenty of StarCraft. You can check us out there. Again, we do upload on a daily basis. We cast on a daily basis as well, so plenty of content, plenty of StarCraft. Otherwise, we'll see you guys tomorrow with some more WardiTV Monday. Not on Monday. See you then. See you then, Papi. See you then. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Ciao, Papi. Ciao. Hasta luego.